family cultivation. I can improve my magic weapon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 801, Hard Demon Tribulation, Strange Phenomena of Heaven and Earth. In short, whether the inner demon tribulation is difficult or not depends on the person. The description in the classics of Lingbao Mountain describes it as very difficult. With Chen Qingyun and Liu Zilin as the guardians, Chen Qingyun thought it was enough and he had a high chance of forming a baby this time. He had a group of puppets, and there were clones such as Baoang and Jiuyu to protect him. Those 3rd and 4th level puppet beasts were not vegetarians. As long as there was no attack from a powerful enemy of the nascent soul, he would be able to fight. After arranging the candidates, Chen Qingyun began to prepare. Since he had formed a baby with the 5 elements out-of-body incarnation, he had already had experience once, so there was no fatal risk. Moreover, during the process of forming a baby, the practice of the technique would have the effect of clearing the mind. The fusion of the 5 elements' origins could also increase the chance of forming a baby to about 70%. To put it another way, if the baby formation really failed, he could survive with the help of clones such as Baoang and Jiuyu. So there was no need to worry about death, which was the advantage. After a month of preparation, Chen Qingyun set off with Liu Zilin and Chen Qingyun, and opened the teleportation array to Huangsha Island. Chen Qingyun and Chen Qingyun saw him off, looking forward to Chen Qingyun's return after forming a baby. After being teleported to Huangsha Island, Chen Qingyun and the other 2 took the lead in cleaning up the surrounding environment in Yunzai Cave Mansion. In the entire Yunzai Cave Mansion, within a radius of 30,000 miles, all the monsters above the Purple Mansion stage were driven away and killed, and the hidden dangers were first eliminated from the environment. The Shui, Wu, and Lin families also sent orders not to approach Yunzai Cave Mansion in the past 5 years, so as not to be killed as intruders. As for the outside of Huangsha Island, there is no need to worry too much. Huangsha Island covers an area of 1 million miles, and the strange phenomena of heaven and earth caused by the formation of a baby cannot be seen at all beyond 30,000 miles. Let alone outside Huangsha Island. Huangsha Island has been located in the Boundary Sea for so many years, almost equivalent to a spiritual island isolated from the world, and it is rarely discovered. The frequent natural disasters in the Boundary Sea can also serve as a threat, making many cultivators dare not walk around in the Boundary Sea at will. This Huangsha Island is indeed the best place for retreat. On the 10th day, Chen Qingyun prepared 5 top-grade spirit stones and 10 high-grade spirit stones for spiritual power replenishment. All puppets, puppet beasts, and clones were taken out and guarded around. In addition, Chen Qingyun and Liu Zilin were guarding on the side, and they entered the blessed land bead and began to retreat in the water spirit vein. The first step of forming an infant is to continuously polish the golden elixir, condense the 5 senses and limbs, and create the embryonic form of the infant. This is a long process that requires gradual progress and cannot be impatient. It tests the patience of the cultivator. When the embryonic form of the infant is condensed, it will enter the second step of the hard demon tribulation. The time to cross the hard demon tribulation varies from person to person, generally not more than 3 years, and the fastest one can even pass this tribulation in 1 or 2 months. And the third step, it is to communicate with heaven and earth and cause the colorful clouds of heaven and earth to gather. The colorful clouds of heaven and earth contain the great power of heaven and earth, such as gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. Under the rules of Taoism, they will all flow into the body of the cultivator like a whirlpool to help forge the Yuanying Dao body. Because Chen Qingyun is using the 5 elements of the external incarnation to assist in forming the infant, this first step will be different. What needs to be done is to combine the 5 elements of the self and the clone, and there is a fusion process. Which clone to choose? Chen Qingyun chose the Xuan Wu clone. According to the method of forming the infant recorded in the practice, This clone is slowly integrated with the self and becomes one. This first step took Chen Qingyun a year. The limbs and facial features gradually condensed on the round and thick golden elixir in the body, and a prototype of a baby appeared. The entire Xuanwu clone has completely merged with Chen Qingyun, and as a harmonizer, it assists Chen Qingyun in the next step of forming the infant. At this time, the hard demon calamity began to appear, and the most challenging stage for the cultivator has arrived. Temptations such as charming beauties, power and wealth appeared one after another, constantly invading Chen Qingyun's mind. Chen Qingyun has never done anything wrong since he practiced, and he has never killed innocent mortals at will. His Tao heart is very firm and there is no fatal loophole. Among these many temptations, Chen Qingyun went deep into them, experienced them well, and tasted all kinds of flavors. Years of prosperity and decline, birth, old age, sickness and death, 7 emotions and 6 desires, greed, anger, ignorance and hatred. After 3 months, Chen Qingyun successfully passed the heart demon tribulation. After passing the tribulation of the nascent soul, Chen Qingyun came to the last step of the nascent soul, which was considered to have reached the half-step nascent soul. Around the Yunzai cave mansion, a large amount of heaven and earth spiritual energy began to gather, and the wind and clouds surged between heaven and earth. In just a moment, a piece of heaven and earth colorful clouds gathered, covering the sky above the Yunzai cave mansion. These colorful clouds are formed by the power of gold, wood, water, fire and earth. They are pure heaven and earth 5 elements, emitting colorful light. Chen Qingyun was paying attention to Chen Qingyun's retreat. When she saw this strange phenomenon, she was immediately delighted. Colorful clouds appeared. Qingyun is about to form a nascent soul this time. Liu Zilin was also attracted by this scene. She smiled and looked at Chen Qingyun, and said with great joy, with such a large range of colorful clouds, Qingyun's Dan formation this time is not small, and he will definitely be able to condense a top-notch nascent soul. These colorful clouds are very vast, stretching for more than 5,000 miles, far exceeding the strange phenomena caused by ordinary cultivators when forming a nascent soul. Such a huge scene attracted some wild deer and squirrels around to look up. They didn't know what happened, but naturally it couldn't be hidden from the eyes of the cultivators on Huangsha Island. For a moment, the cultivators of the 6 tribes, including the Shui family, the Wu family, and the Lin family, were all attracted and looked at the colorful clouds in the sky. Shui Nuian looked up and recognized what was happening, with a look of shock on his face. It's the nascent soul colorful clouds. In this direction, could it be that one of the 2 seniors is forming a nascent soul? Thinking of Chen Qingyun's previous instructions, Shui Nuian immediately issued an order that from this moment on, no one was allowed to approach the Yunzai cave mansion. At the same time Wu Dihai, Lin Yuan Dao, Lin Yuan Ming and others saw this strange phenomenon of heaven and earth and were deeply attracted, and had some guesses in their hearts. They guessed that Chen Qingyun must be trying to reach the nascent soul stage. While paying close attention, they were excited. As long as there is a nascent soul cultivator born on Huangsha Island, it will be a great thing for them, and they can't ask for more. A large amount of heaven and earth power gathered from the colorful clouds, turning into a huge vortex, sweeping towards the Yunzai cave mansion frantically. These great powers of heaven and earth entered the blessed land bead and all flowed into Chen Qingyun's body, starting to forge the nascent soul. Chen Qingyun let go of his hands and feet, turning into a giant whale sucking water, absorbing all the great powers of heaven and earth and the power of the 5 elements, constantly strengthening his own body and filling it with the power of the nascent soul. Chapter 802. The baby is formed successfully. This vision of heaven and earth lasted for a full year and 6 months, bringing long-term shock to the monks and mortals on the island, who would look up from time to time. Retreating to this point, it is not just the supreme power in the colorful clouds of heaven and earth. Together with the power of wood, water and other 5 elements within a radius of 5,000 miles of Yunzai cave, they swarmed into Chen Qingyun's Danshin Yuaning under the guidance of the 5 elements nascent soul. When the last powerful force of heaven and earth was absorbed, The nascent soul in Chen Qingyun's body had been completely formed, showing the 5 colors of the 5 elements. This 5 elements nascent soul contains overwhelming energy. With a buzz, a heart-stopping force swept across like a storm. Just for a moment. This power filled the entire Yunzai cave, and spread outside the cave in one fell swoop, creating a small storm. A large number of trees were blown down, and wild animals and birds fled in panic. At the same time, looking at the sky, the colorful clouds covering the sky and earth covering a radius of 5,000 miles began to dissipate, and the heaven and earth returned to calm. This scene once again became the focus of the monks on the island. The vision of heaven and earth has disappeared. Is this a success? It lasted for more than a year. What a breakthrough in the nascent soul. It's so amazing. The 3rd level of nascent soul must be the earth vein nascent soul. The monks on the island started talking heatedly, and they all wanted to go to Yunzai cave to have a look. But thinking about the order issued by his family, he was not allowed to set foot in Yunzai cave for the past 5 years, so he could only continue to watch from a distance. At this time, in Yunzai cave mansion. Chen Qingyun opened his eyes, and his eyes were filled with divine light. He became more energetic, and the energy and blood in his body increased by about 3 times. The feedback brought by the strong strength made Chen Qingyun feel as if his whole body was filled with endless power, and his lifespan increased to 3,000 years. Looking inside the Danshan, I saw that the 5 elements nascent soul had been condensed in it, which was equivalent to the Tanmei nascent soul in terms of strength. Human connections, earth veins, heavenly veins, 3 levels of nascent soul. I have now condensed the 5 elements nascent soul. The nascent soul stage is finished. A smile appeared on Chen Qingyun's lips. By releasing the divine consciousness, the improvement in this field is very huge. It can already cover thousands of miles around, covered by the detection range of the divine consciousness. Around Yunzai cave mansion, in the area of 10,000 miles, every plant and tree, the flapping of an insect's wings, and the water droplets dripping from a grass are all under Chen Qingyun's control. The range of spiritual consciousness has shown explosive growth. Is this the power of the nascent soul stage? It is indeed amazing. The improvement in strength is definitely not comparable to that of the golden core stage. All the improvements brought about by Beong after forming the 5 elements nascent soul were now reflected in Chen Qingyun. With a long roar, Chen Qingyun flew out of the blessed land pearl and appeared in front of Chen Qingyun and Liu Zilin. The 2 of them had been waiting for a long time. When they saw Chen Qingyun appear, they immediately greeted him. 6th brother, you have been in seclusion for 5 years and formed an elixir in one fell swoop. Congratulations. Qingyun, you are finally out of seclusion. When Chen Qingyun came out of seclusion, at the same time, Shui Yuan, Lin Yuandao and others had been paying attention. When I saw the colorful clouds receding slowly, I still didn't know what it meant. That day, they gathered together and held a small discussion to discuss the matter. Shui Yuan was about to take the lead and go to see Chen Qingyun, and slowly said, everyone, you have been paying attention to the vision of heaven and earth in Yunzai cave for more than a year, so you can guess what it means. Now that Senior Chen has taken part in the creation process, he may have successfully conceived a baby. This is amazing. Lin Yuanming was still worried and continued, how can it be so easy to break through the nascent soul stage? It is difficult to say whether Senior Chen has succeeded in breaking through. At this time, the more we need to stay calm. It is better to observe for a while, lest we lose face by jumping to conclusions. Lin Yuanming, don't look at people through the crack in the door. Why? You don't want Senior Chen to break through to the nascent soul stage. What are you worried about? Upon hearing this, Wu Dihai responded directly and looked at Lin Yuanming with a look of displeasure on his face. Such a huge vision of heaven and earth opened my eyes. If it weren't for being completely sure, who would have had a baby so easily? In my opinion, this time the birth of a baby is likely to be successful, and it is not an ordinary nascent soul. Senior Chen has made great progress. Why can't you treat others well? Good. Lin Yuandao nodded and said, Senior Chen is very capable. We have witnessed it with our own eyes more than once. We went to sea a few years ago and went to the Qingguang Islands. During this trip, we relied on the protection of Senior Chen, otherwise, we would not have achieved what we have today. In the past 3 years, the younger generation of your Lin family has been able to emerge a foundation-building monk. Isn't this relying on the foundation-building pill brought by Senior Chen? Okay, whether this is successful or not, we might as well pay a visit and hope that a nascent soul monk will be born on our Huangsha Island. Hunyuan spoke, indicating that everyone did not need to argue anymore. No matter what the outcome is, we don't want to show any disrespect to Senior Chen. Whether we can get out of Huangsha Island in the future depends on Senior Chen's help. After Hunyuan finished speaking, he took Lin Yuan Dao, Wu Dihai, and Lin Yuan Ming to set off for Yunzai Cave Mansion. While on the road, they thought of Chen Qingyun's previous order not to approach Yunzai Cave for 5 years. Now that 5 years have passed, in order to show respect, they still sent a message early with the Huang Ningjin, asking if they could come to pay a visit. During the conversation between Chen Qingyun and Liu Zilin and Chen Qingyun, they learned that Chen Qingyun had condensed the 5 elements Chuanying, and they were overjoyed. Chen Qingyun also practiced the 5 elements out-of-body incarnation, so he naturally knew what the 5 elements Yuanying meant. This is one of the top Yuanyings. At the same time, Chen Qingyun received the content of the message at this time and took a simple glance. Liu Zilin saw this scene and asked with a smile, "Are Hunyuan and the others coming to ask for an audience?" Well, the previous movement of the infant formation was too loud, which must have attracted their attention and made them guess something. Chen Qingyun heard this, thought about it, and asked, "These Huangsha Island monks are coming, should I avoid it?" Chen Qingyun shook his head. "No, they have already served as guest elders of our Chen family, and they are also considered as our own people." After receiving the permission from the message, Hunyuan and the other 4 quickly came to Yunzai Cave and met Chen Qingyun and the other 2. When they saw Chen Qingyun's unfamiliar face, the 4 of them didn't know how to address her for a moment, and could only call her senior for the time being. Chen Qingyun smiled slightly and introduced Chen Qingyun beside him. "This is my 5th sister, also an elder of the Chen family, with the same status as me. In the future, if she tells you to do something on Huangsha Island, it will be my intention." Chapter 803, Subsequent Skills, Great Advancement of Spiritual Pets. Hearing that Chen Qingyun had an extraordinary background, Hunyuan and the other 4 nodded in agreement. Although he knew the purpose of these people's visit, Chen Qingyun still asked, "What are you doing here this time?" There was no need for them to ask. After feeling the powerful cultivation emanating from Chen Qingyun, which was far beyond the scope of the giant stage, they immediately looked determined and congratulated him one by one. "Congratulations, Senior, on your nascent soul." "Congratulations, Senior." After sending Hunyuan away, Chen Qingyun rested for a few days and returned to Zhenhai Island with Chen Qingyun and Li Zilu. The news of the successful formation of the nascent soul was shared with Chen Qingluan, Chen Qingyun, and Chen Xianming as soon as possible. Upon learning that Chen Qingyun lived up to everyone's expectations and formed a nascent soul in one fell swoop, Chen Xianming burst into tears and flew to Zhenhai Island to congratulate him that day. He also brought a pot of good wine and drank a few glasses with Chen Qingyun. Since the Chen family was promoted to a giant family, Chen Xianming was so happy and excited for the first time. Thinking of the subsequent practice, Chen Xianming said, "You are now a great cultivator of the nascent soul stage, and you are also a top-notch 5 elements nascent soul. You should also look for the subsequent exercises carefully. The exercises must be of the nascent soul level to maintain your practice. In terms of nascent soul exercises, the family is still at a disadvantage and cannot satisfy you for the time being. You can only look for it from other places. The Chen family currently has the Golden Core exercise, but not the nascent soul exercise. Chen Qingyun has considered this for a long time. Calculating the time, There are still about 7 years before the second exploration of the 5 elements sect ruins. At that time, perhaps you can gain something from this sect ruins and obtain the nascent soul level exercises. As for going to Xingzong or Lingbao Mountain to exchange for nascent soul exercises, this is not appropriate. In Xingzong, according to the identity of the Star Patrol envoy, as long as you have enough good deeds, you can exchange for nascent soul exercises. The premise is that as long as you can pass the inspection and assessment of Xingzong. What are the specific requirements? Chen Qingyun does not know for the time being. But one thing is certain, the cultivation must be revealed. Doing so will undoubtedly expose a problem. Revealing the cultivation too early will definitely cause speculation in the Xingzong. How did he condense the nascent soul? The old-fashioned giant and cultivators of the Xingzong, such as the 2 ancestors Zhu and Liang, the Hongling ancestor, and several others, have not yet condensed the nascent soul despite the rich resources of the sect. On the contrary, the cultivators of his family were able to surpass the latecomers. This achievement will inevitably lead to speculation, and there must be some opportunity secret. Chen Qingyun could think of this, and Chen Xianming had also considered it. I am currently practicing a technique called Da Rizenji. Although practicing Jindan techniques is indeed a bit lacking in the nascent soul stage, it can still improve my strength and master 1 or 2 magical skills. I have already made plans for the subsequent nascent soul techniques. Chen Qingyun was just as he planned. Chen Xianming did not ask further questions. He nodded and said, "You have a good opportunity and have plans for future practice. You don't need me to worry about you. In the family, you have the highest achievement and I am most proud of you." Chen Xianming earnestly reminded, in addition to the techniques, there is another thing. If you expose your cultivation too early, you will inevitably be at the center of the storm and be speculated by all sides. There will be all kinds of opinions at that time. We might as well keep our composure and conceal the breakthrough of the nascent soul stage for a while, and treat it as the biggest trump card. As for the family, I will also keep this matter strictly confidential and not disclose it. On the surface, we are still the Jindan family. Chen Xianming asked how many people knew about this matter. After learning that apart from him and the monks from Huangsha Island, only Chen Qingyun, Chen Qingluan, Chen Qingyun, and Liu Zilin knew about it, he nodded with relief. After chatting with the old patriarch for a while, the old patriarch returned to the clan happily. In the next few days, thinking that his family already had a nascent soul monk, a smile appeared on his face from time to time. In the next few days, Chen Qingyun released several of Mo Ling's pets. After careful observation, the strength of the 3 pets increased significantly. First, Mo Ling digested the essence of the dragon pearl grass and broke through to the peak of the purple mansion 3 years ago. Then Mo Ling relied on his own blood advantage to break through again and reached the 4th level. The improvement of a major realm allowed Mo Ling to awaken a natural magical power called Thunderstorm, which can use supreme thunder to launch a large range, or concentrate on a high attack output. The awakening of this natural magical power, while improving Mo Ling's strength, once again verified that it is definitely not a Wind and Thunder Eagle. The Wind and Thunder Eagle is limited by its bloodline and can only grow to the Purple Mansion stage at most, but it does not have this kind of innate magical power. Then there is Beiling. Beiling turned into a mini-size and turned into a bracelet around Chen Qingyun's wrist. From the perception of the mutual communication of thoughts, it can be clearly perceived that it has also entered the 4th level. In terms of innate magical powers, Beiling has not awakened a new one yet, and it is estimated that it will have to improve its strength. Mo Ling and Beiling are currently at the early stage of the golden core. Next is Beiling. The dragon pearl grass has also improved it a lot. It has broken through 2 small realms in succession and reached the late stage of the purple mansion. Finally, there is the 6-winged miasma cloud bee. The strength of the queen bee has been improved to the middle stage of the golden core, which is the 4th level middle grade. The blood of other spirit bees has been improved to some extent, and in terms of quantity, it has reached more than 50,000. The improvement of the spirit beasts made Chen Qingyun quite satisfied. He couldn't help wanting to get more dragon bead grass, Just a few hundred more would be fine. However, how could this dragon bead grass be so easy to obtain? I have been to so many markets, but I have never seen any market selling it. This time, it was the guardian of Kuish Cave who took the initiative to send treasures to welcome such a great fortune. After understanding the changes of the spirit beasts, Chen Qingyun began to prepare to strengthen the puppets again to improve their strength. As for the 5th level magic tools, we also have to think carefully. A few years ago, the group of Qingguang Islands got 4 pieces of fire crystals, each about the size of a fist, and 1 piece could strengthen a puppet. In order to increase the success rate, Hunyuan bought 8 pieces at one time and kept 4 pieces for himself, which could be strengthened 4 times, and there would always be 2 successes. 4 pieces of fire crystals can only strengthen the strength of 4 puppets at most. Which 4 should I strengthen? Chen Qingyun thought about it and calculated the number of puppets on his body and their respective strengths. The 5 elements' external incarnations are themselves puppets, and are also within the scope of being strengthened. The fire crystal can strengthen up to the 4th level puppet, so choose the 9 nether, sea god, ice and thunder clones. There is nothing to hesitate about. Chen Qingyun has chosen his target and started to refine the fire crystal, integrating it into the 5 elements of the clones one by one. Chapter 804 Fusion of New Spiritual Treasure. The entire refining and integration process is very simple. With Chen Qingyun's skill in weapon refining, it can be said that it is more than enough. In less than a day, this enhancement was successfully completed. Each one was integrated into the fire crystal, and the 5 elements' origins of the 4 clones became more stable, and their defense power was approximately doubled. If the fire crystal is used to strengthen the 2nd level puppet, it can be strengthened to the 3rd level in one fell swoop. However, in Chen Qingyun's case, this seems to be overkill. Strengthening with a 4th level clone will not bring about an improvement in level. The main thing is that I have the strengthening talent in hand. This fire crystal is still more suitable for strengthening the golden elixir clone. It has no effect on the 8 wastes and the nascent soul stage. Chen Qingyun used the Poseidon clone to give it a simple try and found that its strength was somewhat improved than before, and its attack output was increased by 50%. The effect of this enhancement was as expected. Taking advantage of the time, Chen Qingyun continued to be busy, taking out a lot of weapon refining materials and preparing to start refining a batch of magical weapons. Now that we have obtained many hakes and crystals and purchased a large amount of materials from the Qingguang Islands, we can just arrange the trident. After taking out the trident weapon and looking at it carefully, Chen Qingyun started to refine the trident. This time of refining, I plan to equip the 5 elements puppet with one to enhance their combat effectiveness. Comparing the trident weapon recipe, Chen Qingyun made inferences based on the 2nd level top-grade trident, optimized it, and refined the 3rd level top-grade trident on the same day. This trident, due to the addition of the Qingguang stone, can be enlarged and reduced at will according to the puppet, giving it greater flexibility. Since the puppets are all controlled by themselves, the level of magical weapons they can use can naturally reach the 5th level. Therefore, this 3rd level trident can be equipped in large quantities. If it is a higher level, the materials are not up to standard, and strengthening points need to be used to strengthen it. For now, let's try the actual combat effects of these tridents. At that time, if the effect meets the expectations, you can strengthen it again and equip the clone. There are currently 50 puppets in the Immortal Palace, all of which have reached the peak of the foundation building stage. In the next 2 months, Chen Qingyun refined a total of 50 tridents, all of which were equipped on these puppets. According to the effect of the trident, a single use can divide water and break waves, and use the power of water to fight against the enemy. Using multiple tridents together can achieve a group combat effect, which will further enhance the puppet's combat capabilities. After the equipment was refined, Chen Qingyun took out all the damaged magic weapons purchased in Qianhai group this time. Now, it's time to strengthen the magic weapon and create 1 or 2 handy spiritual treasures. There are a total of 533 magical artifacts. It is not necessary to disassemble all of them, Some of them are effective and can be repaired into finished products or used as fusion materials. Chen Qingyun began to carefully calculate how to use these damaged magic weapons. I am now in the nascent soul stage. In terms of spiritual treasures, I only have the Tianyan twin swords and the Flame Emperor bell. It will take several months to refine them before I can advance to the 5th level. I've calculated everything, but there are only 2 spiritual treasures, which are still too few. I have to give full play to the advantages of the magical weapons. Because the Flame Emperor bell is special, it can be upgraded according to the owner's cultivation level, up to the highest level of spiritual treasure. For this subsequent improvement process, just spend some time practicing the Great Sun True Interpretation. Chen Qingyun decided to obtain other types of spiritual treasures through fusion. In terms of strengthening and upgrading alone, it consumes a lot of strengthening points. Now that I have many magic weapons on my body, I can just choose a few to fuse, and maybe synthesize some special and powerful spiritual treasures. 3. Top-grade natal magic weapons are used as materials. At the cost of 300 strengthening points, a low-grade spiritual treasure can be fused. Which magic weapons should I choose as materials for fusion? After some selection, Chen Qingyun selected 2 damaged magic weapons. The first one is called the 9-bend Zhuxiantu sword. It can turn into 9 sharp flying swords when used to fight the enemy. It is at the 4th level of the top grade. The second piece has the effect of temporarily imprisoning the enemy's magic weapon. It is called the Dingling Mirror, a 4th level mid-grade. These 2 broken magic weapons were named by Chen Qingyun based on their respective effects. Chen Qingyun repaired them all and strengthened them to the 4th level. Then the 10,000 swords diagram was strengthened and fused for the first time with the Thunder Dragon Blade and the 9-bend Zhuxiantu sword. The 3 magical instruments turned into light, blended with each other, and quickly merged into a new magical instrument. The Immortal Killing Picture, a low-grade spiritual treasure, can release immeasurable immortal swords that can overwhelm mountains and seas. It has a powerful killing effect. Even if a nascent soul cultivator is hit, it will be difficult for him to escape. The effect of this immortal killing diagram is that it adds stronger power to the 10,000 swords diagram and can easily destroy the opponent's defensive magic weapon. The effect is not bad. After fusing the first magic weapon, Chen Qingyun thought about it for a while and had an idea in his mind. This spirit-fixing mirror can condense golden light to temporarily immobilize the enemy's magic weapon. If it is combined with the fluctuating sleeves and learns from each other's strengths, will it have a better effect of collecting the magic weapon? Chen Qingyun made a bold guess and felt that this idea was interesting. 3 pieces are being fused into a group. There is still 1 piece left. For the 3rd piece, choose a larger magic weapon. It is best to have a larger storage space. After choosing among the many magical weapons, Chen Qingyun took a fancy to the Vientiane Heavenly Dragon Cauldron, and in one fell swoop enhanced the Vientiane Heavenly Dragon Cauldron, fluttering sleeves, and dingling mirror to the 4th level. Whether the desired effect can be achieved by fusion, we will know after trying it now. The next step is to carry out the second fusion. With a face full of expectation, as the fusion is completed, a new spiritual treasure is obtained. The Cauldron of All Things, a low-grade spiritual treasure, can release precious light to store enemy magic weapons, not limited by the type of magic weapons. This cauldron has defensive power and is very resistant to attacks. The effect of the Cauldron of All Things made Chen Qingyun look happy. It has an effect similar to the Qingguang sleeve, which really works. After 2 fusions, 2 spiritual treasures were obtained at once, and the effects were very good, which made Chen Qingyun smile. As for the 3rd spiritual treasure, Chen Qingyun has no plans to fuse it for the time being. The Immortal Palace still needs to be strengthened, as do other magic weapons, even clones and puppets. Then, let's start strengthening the clones. After decomposing all the broken magic weapons, the strengthening points reached over 920,000. To strengthen the 8 desolations to the late nascent soul stage, 1,161,216 strengthening points are required, which is obviously not enough. Chen Qingyun selected Jiuyu, Poseidon, and Hanbing's 3 clones, and strengthened them to the 5th order lower grade, reaching the early stage of the nascent soul. As for the magic weapon, he chose the Immortal Palace, and strengthened it from the 4th order middle grade to the 4th order upper grade. Chapter 805 Teleportation Array completed. When the Immortal Palace was in the 4th grade middle grade, the maximum expansion area reached 1,800 square meters. Now that it has been upgraded by 1 grade, the area has expanded to nearly 4,000 square meters. In addition, the concentration of the immortal spirit energy has increased again for the recovery ability of the puppet. Calculated based on the peak giant and puppet, when the mana is about 10% remaining, it only takes half an hour to recover. The recovery effect can supply up to 12 giant and puppets. Chen Qingyun controlled the Immortal Palace and found that the maximum control range of the puppets has been significantly expanded, increasing by 1,000 miles. The number of controls can control up to 2,000 purple mansion puppets. The number of giant and puppets controlled has increased to nearly 1,000. These are theoretical data. Chen Qingyun is still very satisfied with the improvement of the effect obtained after the strengthening of the Immortal Palace. After this strengthening, the strengthening points are only a few hundred points in an instant. Chen Qingyun stopped and saved them for next time. The power of some magic tools has greatly increased, and 2 new spiritual treasures have been added. Chen Qingyun decided to practice the Great Sun's true explanation to perfection and master the magical power of the Shadow Clone. Using the Shadow Clone, up to 36 clones can be differentiated, which can have a considerable advantage in battle. Chen Qingyun is confident that he can master the last level of the Great Sun's true explanation within a year. If he practices with the cultivation of the nascent soul stage, he will definitely break through the bottleneck of the practice in one fell swoop. Chen Qingyun began to retreat, and time passed slowly, and it was the summer of the 2nd year in a blink of an eye. On this day, the bottleneck of the practice was broken, and finally the Great Sun's true explanation was cultivated to the 5th level and mastered the Shadow Clone. As for the other practices that he practiced, Chen Qingyun also practiced them one by one, and all the practices that he could practice were practiced. After leaving the retreat, good news came from the family. After nearly 13 years, the teleportation array was finally built. A total of 2 teleportation arrays were built, one on Lingjian Island and one on Lingxi Island. Chen Qingyun was invited by Chen Xianming to visit the teleportation array. The teleportation array on Lingjian Island was built around a demon-killing cannon and was protected by layers of protection. It was about 1/3 the size of the teleportation array in Thankuai Cave Mansion. Chen Qingyun looked at it carefully for a while. It must be said that according to the Zhang family's array attainments, this small teleportation array was built with very good quality and no problems were found. This is related to space teleportation, so there must not be any flaws. Finally, there was still a teleportation order that was not made. Chen Xianming mentioned this matter. It was a bit troublesome to obtain this earth-suppressing stone. In the end, King Feng secretly exchanged some from Bai Yining, and the family took out a batch of resources to participate in the exchange. The family has no way to get the last void crystal stone for the time being. Do you have any more? Chen Xianming asked with a smile. Chen Qingyun nodded, having promised the family long ago that he could provide void crystal stone. Leave the production of this teleportation order to me. Once I have the teleportation order, I will personally try out the effect of the teleportation array. The spatial turbulence in the teleportation array can easily strangle a giant and cultivator. The family's first teleportation array cannot be tested casually by the clan members. According to Chen Qingyun's strength, he can easily deal with spatial turbulence. Even if there is a problem with the teleportation array, he can withstand it. Flying away from Lingjian Island, Chen Qingyun restrained his breath and came all the way to Lingbao Mountain, telling Liu Yuzilin about the production of the teleportation order. The two worked together again and spent 3 days to refine a brand new teleportation order. Returning to Lingjian Island again, Chen Qingyun prepared to try the effect of this teleportation array. The Chen family and the Zhang family sent cultivators to observe and witness the success of the first teleportation array. Chen Xianming, Chen Daoran, Chen Qingyun and others gathered here, each with an expectant look on their faces. On the Zhang family side, Zhang Tanling and several Zhang family executives were also present. On the other side of the teleportation array, on Linxai Island, Zhang Wenshan, Chen Qingyun and others were waiting. The Zhang family did not know that Chen Qingyun's strength had increased greatly and he had broken through the nascent soul stage. At this moment, seeing that it was Chen Qingyun who was going to test the teleportation array, they wanted to dissuade him one by one. They could not let the Chen family send out the mainstay to try it. If there was any mistake, the Zhang family would be blamed, which could directly affect the relationship between the two families. Chen Xianming had been prepared for this and said that he had equipped Chen Qingyun with some top-notch magic tools, protective talismans, etc., which could save his life at a critical moment. Before Zhang Tanling and others could say a few more words, Chen Qingyun activated the teleportation order and activated the teleportation array. Hey, why is it turned on? Senior, be careful. Zhang Tanling, Zhang Rin and others showed nervousness, and their eyes were firmly on Chen Qingyun. Buzz. The teleportation array suddenly started, emitting bursts of dazzling and gorgeous light, madly absorbing the spiritual power and the foundation. Mysterious array patterns began to overlap and began to surround the array, communicating the power of space. Since the small teleportation array is small in size, the teleportation distance is not too far, and it can be maintained by using high-quality spiritual stones. It took only a few breaths of time, and when the spiritual power was completely absorbed, the teleportation light flashed, and Chen Qingyun's figure disappeared in the tense attention of everyone. Everyone saw that the energy of the teleportation array converged and returned to its usual calm appearance. The sight shifted to Linxai Island. In the matching teleportation array, along with the rising light, Chen Qingyun's figure appeared and stood in the center of the teleportation array. Chen Qingyun, Zhang Wenshan and others who had been waiting for a long time immediately cheered. It's done, it's done. The teleportation array is finally built! The successful construction of the first teleportation array will make the top leaders of the Zhang and Chen families excited in the next few days. Few other cultivators of the two families knew about this, and they blocked the news early and did not spread it to the outside world. At least, they concealed it as much as possible for now. If the news was leaked, there was nothing to worry about. After all, the teleportation array was built by themselves, without stealing or robbing, and with the strength of the Chen family as a deterrent. Few forces dared to rob it. After verifying the reliability of the teleportation array, Chen Xianming held a family meeting, and Chen Qingyun also participated in it. The main content of this meeting was to discuss the establishment of the next teleportation array. After discussion, the location was chosen between Zhenhai Island and Linjian Island, and it was still jointly established by the Chen and Zhang families. Material procurement, specific site selection, etc., will be taken over by Chen Xianming himself. The family is in charge of the teleportation array, and Chen Qingyun does not have to worry about it at all. At most, he is responsible for the production of the most core teleportation order, and he has a little void crystal in his hand. After staying in the family for 2 days, Chen Qingyun paid attention to the development of the family and visited elders such as Chen Daoran and Chen Dalin. During the casual chat, he also had a general idea in his mind. Chapter 806, Xingzong Elders Visit. The Chen family has developed to this day and continues to marry into major families, absorbing foreign bloodlines, and its population is growing rapidly. As far as the Xingsha Islands are concerned, all the immortal cultivating families have established friendly relations with the Chen family, sending a large number of female cultivators and mortals to marry into the Chen family. Externally, the Chen family often sends monks to keep an eye on the outside world and bring some ordinary children with poor backgrounds back to the family for training. Most of these foreign children have spiritual root qualifications. If you don't have it, consider it as a good deed and adopt them. Then to recruiting talents, recruiting guest elders, etc. This has never stopped. Currently, the number of monks in the Chen family has exceeded 1,000, reaching 1,001. growing rapidly. The number of guest elders has increased to 22. The total family population has reached over 200,000, which is the result of Daxing's inheritance and encouragement of fertility. At present, in terms of family inheritance, it has been passed down to the book generation. The path of immortality is evergreen. I read the wise and think about progress, I know books and observe etiquette, and I have bright aspirations in the sea of stars. The youngest monk in the family is 3-year-old Chen Qingyun, who already belongs to the 10th generation. It is worth mentioning that Chen Qingyun was born in Linxi County, and was inspired by the spirit enlightening divine tree, giving birth to the talent of dual spiritual roots. In the future, there will be many children like Chen Qingyun, who will increase the chance of birth of spiritual roots due to the effect of the spirit enlightening divine tree, further increasing the birth rate of the Chen family's fairy seedlings. Chen Qingyun lived in the family for 2 days. He walked around the clan from time to time and saw many strange faces. These new generation monks learned about Chen Qingyun from the portraits and introductions from their elders, so they were able to recognize him and would take the initiative to say hello. Chen Qingyun's words were basically unfamiliar, and he couldn't recognize whose children they were or what their names were. As there are more and more new generations of monks in the family, such as Chen Xianming, Chen Dalin, Chen Qingyun and other family elder monks, they are basically not too familiar with these juniors when they meet them. If it weren't for the cohesion of the family, the majesty of being an elder, and the strong strength of the family's top brass, these younger generations probably wouldn't pay much attention to them. Chen Qingyun was about to return to Zhenhai Island. On this day, a monk from Xingzhou came and asked to see Chen Xianming. The person who came was Lu Shengyang from Danxing Palace, the 16th elder of Xing sect. When the Chen family held a golden elixir banquet, Lu Shengyang took the initiative to attend. Subsequently, Chen Qingyun and Chen Xianming were invited to serve as star patrollers of the star sect. Afterwards, Chen Xianming declined and were replaced by Chen Qingyun, who became the Purple Order star patroller. Lu Shengyang came again this time, which made Chen Xianming curious about his purpose and called Chen Qingyun over. Chen Qingyun went to the family hall and met with Lu Shengyang. Lu Shengyang didn't like Moji's behavior. After a few polite words, he said straight to the point, "Time flies, and the last wave of Xinghai demons seems to be still in front of us, as if it passed not long ago. Time flies now, and 64 years have passed in the blink of an eye. There are still 36 years left before the next wave of the Star Sea Demon. The Star Sea Monster Tide occurs every 100 years, and the calculation time starts from the end of each battle. 64 years have passed since the last Star Sea Monster Tide ended. Seeing Lu Shengyang mentioning the Xinghai Demon Tide, Chen Xianming frowned slightly. This was not a matter of ignorance. But when you think about it, time flies by really fast. In 36 years, the next wave of demons from the Star Sea will come, and it will be another large-scale battle for which the entire Star Sea is preparing for war. Facing a crisis like this that happens once in a century, no Xinghai monk will take it lightly. At the same time, this also made Chen Xianming and Chen Qingyun wonder what Lu Shengyang was doing at this time when he mentioned the Xinghai Demon Tide. If you come here to recruit, you should come back 30 years later, 5 or 6 years in advance. It's still 30 years later. Why did it come so early? Thinking of this, Chen Xianming asked, "Fellow Taoist, Lu mentioned the Xinghai Demon Tide. May I ask if you are here this time and need my services?" Having long expected that this visit would be too sudden, Lu Shengyang showed a serious look and continued. "It's like this. Although there are still 36 years before the Star Sea Demon Tide, in order to reduce the pressure of the war in advance, the Star Sect has already begun planning to cut off the wings of the Demon King and take action against some of the Golden Core Demon Kings entrenched around the Star Sea. I came here this time because I received the order from the Sect Master. I want to invite 2 star patrols from the nobles to participate in the operation. In the past few months, I have joined forces with us to clear out several monster strongholds and kill several golden elixirs. Monster. In this way, we can also reduce the threat of the Star Sea Demon Tide 36 years later, so that our camp can face fewer Golden Core Demon Kings." After learning the reason, Chen Xianming suddenly understood. Chen Xianming said, Gizon has thought carefully. If we eliminate some golden elixir demon kings in advance, it will indeed relieve a lot of pressure. Immediately afterwards, Chen Xianming changed the topic and asked, I just don't know what Gizon wants us to do. How many giant and demon kings need to be eliminated? In the past, the Chen family was weak, and they were worried about damaging their vitality and leading to the decline of the family when they participated in the Star Sea campaign. There is no way to know the exact size of this Star Sea demon tide and how many golden elixir demon kings there are. So much so that when participating in the battle, they prayed not to encounter a level 1 beast wave. Most of the time, the Chen family teamed up with other monks to fight against the 3rd and 4th level beast tides, and rarely against the 2nd level beast tides. Rarely will they be active on the front line. As for clearing out those giant and monster kings in advance, the Star Sect would have such an action, and the Chen family knew nothing about it. This was the first time they heard about it. To be honest, in fact, in this operation, in addition to clearing out the 12 marked giant and monster kings, there are 3 spirit islands that need to be occupied. Plan the battlefront in advance, Lu Shengyang said, and began to introduce in detail. First of all, there are these 12 giant and monster beasts. They are currently living in the Wanjiantu Sea, stirring up trouble in the sea area near the Star Sea, which is a huge threat. When the beast tide begins, they will lead the monster group to raid the Star Sea, putting great pressure on the front line. On the Star Sea side, at least 12 giant and monks need to be sent to deal with it. This is only part of the giant and monster kings, and there will be others. Then there are the 3 spirit islands. These 3 spirit islands are currently in the Star Sea, occupied by the 3 giant and monster kings, and have become a forbidden area. There are 3 golden elixir monster kings entrenched in the Star Sea. Regardless of whether they are related to the future Star Sea monster tide, they need to be cleared out in time. According to the Star Sect, this time they are preparing to capture these 3 spiritual islands and then build them into a front-line battlefield to facilitate the transportation of materials and the transfer of personnel. Chapter 807 The Origin of the Star Sea Monster Tide. Chen Xianming and the other 2 did not understand the situation of the Xinghai Monster Tide, and what experience they could adopt. After listening to Lu Shengyang's story, they just nodded slowly. Since the traces of these monster kings have been discovered, they will become a huge hidden danger threatening us at that time. It is better to take action now to prevent them from expanding their scale and gradually developing. Lu Shengyang said. Chen Xianming considered the problem very comprehensively and knew that these monster kings must be cleared in advance. There was nothing wrong with Xingzong's approach. Clearing in advance can also reserve enough reaction time, so as not to be in a hurry, and there will be more time for construction and defense. But a doubt still emerged, which made Chen Xianming look thoughtful and wanted to ask, but hesitated. Lu Shengyang noticed something and smiled, saying, if Patriarch Chen has any doubts, just speak up. Since we have issued an invitation, we will definitely tell you everything we know and show some sincerity without hiding anything. Hearing this, Chen Xianming no longer hesitated and asked directly, for so many years, I have always had a doubt in my heart. All the cultivators in the Star Sea know that this Star Sea monster tide occurs every 100 years, but why is it at this time, not more or less than a year? What is the reason? The monsters seem to have reached some kind of agreement with us, and they only invade the Star Sea at a fixed time. This has become a rule. As soon as Chen Xianming finished speaking, Lu Shengyang nodded and said, you guessed right, an agreement was indeed reached. Hearing this, Chen Xianming couldn't help but look at Chen Qingyun. For this answer. Even if he had guessed that there was this possibility, he was still surprised when it was confirmed at this moment. Lu Shengyang had no intention of hiding anything and told the truth. You 2 are both giant and cultivators, and fellow Taoist Qingyun is also the Jinling Patrol Star Envoy of our sect, so you are naturally qualified to know this secret. To be honest, the appearance of this Xinghai monster tide occurs once every 100 years. It is an agreement signed by our Xinghai and Penglai Fairyland, Black Dragon Palace, Demon Ancestor Palace, and Qinshui Mansion. This agreement was reached as early as the establishment of Xingzong. As Lu Shengyang narrated, the whole story of this matter finally surfaced. More than 1,600 years ago, when many ancestors joined forces to exorcise beasts and open the sea, the monsters in the Wanyao Sea were already eroding Xinghai. Until the establishment of Xingzong, the Xinghai domain was divided. The Xinghai cultivators, led by Xingzun, began to contact the four top forces of the Wanyao Sea, the Black Dragon Palace, the Demon Ancestor Palace, the Qinshui Mansion, and the Penglai Fairyland, to discuss matters concerning their respective territories. Penglai Fairyland was easy to deal with. It recognized the establishment of Xingzong at the first time, opened up Xinghai as its territory in the inner sea, and established friendly exchanges. The Black Dragon Palace did not agree with Xinghai at first, and wanted to further reduce the area of Xinghai, return Xinghai to its own rule, and raise humans for food. The Demon Ancestor Hall and the Divine Water Palace were indifferent to this, allowing Xinghai to be born without expressing clear opposition. In the end, it was still several top cultivators in Penglai Fairyland who came forward to support Xinghai and put some pressure on the Black Dragon Palace. In addition, the Black Dragon Palace was fighting with the mermaids in Tongshan Demon Sea and Mermaid Sea. On the other hand, they were worried that the Demon Ancestor Hall and the Divine Water Palace would seize the hegemony of the 10,000 Demon Sea, so they could only take a step back and recognize the birth of Xinghai. This recognition eventually evolved into an agreement that all five parties needed to strictly abide by. The content of this agreement is very simple, with a total of 2 items. Lu Shengyang did not hide it and told it slowly. Article 1. During the period of the agreement, Xinghai, Penglai Fairyland, Black Dragon Palace, Demon Ancestor Palace, and Qinshui Mansion cannot fight each other. Even more, several of them cannot unite to target another party. Article 2. Every 100 years, Xinghai and Penglai Fairyland need to help Black Dragon Palace, Demon Ancestor Palace, and Qinshui Mansion to clean up the monsters that are flooding. In this way, the resources and ecology of the Wanyao Sea are kept balanced. The first article is easy to understand, that is, in agreement not to fight each other. No one should invade anyone's base camp, and some small fights and frictions in daily life can be ignored. The second article is worth talking about, and there are small thoughts of each family. And since the inner sea itself is a paradise for monsters, tens of thousands of monster species have lived since ancient times, and the number is too large to be counted. Most monsters have strong reproductive ability and can spread in a short time and occupy a sea area. Such a huge breeding speed will lead to an increasing number of monsters over time, occupying a large amount of marine resources and requiring more food. Under limited resources, if the number of monsters exceeds the maximum tolerance, the ecosystem will definitely collapse. Since the establishment of the Black Dragon Palace, it has also been controlling the number of monsters under its jurisdiction to ensure that there is no tension between too many people and too little land. In order to control more efficiently and conveniently, the Black Dragon Palace has cleared out many large and small, uneven monster forces, or taken them under its command. After such a purge, the final version of the Wanyao Sea domain was finally divided, leaving the 2 major monster cultivation forces of Qinshui Mansion and Yaozu Temple to help rule the Wanyao Sea together. These 3 monster cultivation forces have already been ranked in strength because of the gap in strength between each other. The Black Dragon Palace has a deep foundation and is undoubtedly the first, the absolute overlord of the Wanyao Sea. The Demon Ancestor Palace is the second, which is the Demon Cultivator Alliance established in the later period. In the past few hundred years, it has gradually emerged and its strength has gradually surpassed that of the Divine Water Palace. It is the leading force against the Black Dragon Palace. The strength of the Divine Water Palace is second only to the Penglai Fairyland and the Tongshan Demon Sea. In recent years, it has rarely taken action and its reputation is not as loud as before. Due to the special structure of the 10,000 Demon Sea, the 3 camps of Demon Cultivators, Immortal Cultivators, and Demon Cultivators have been fighting each other for 1,000 years. Among them, The demon cultivator camp is the most prosperous, and will also join forces to suppress the immortal cultivator and demon cultivator camps to maintain their own rule. Therefore, the master of the 10,000 demon sea is still the demon cultivator to this day, and it is the world of the demon cultivator. When negotiating the agreement, Xingzong and Penglai Fairyland realized this and could only think of ways to come up with strategies to weaken the strength of other forces to ensure that the other party will not pose too much threat to themselves. Externally, we must also guard against the invasion of creatures from the mermaids, the Thunder Spirit Sea, the Misty Blood Sea, and other places, and the continuous annexation of the Boundary Sea. The Black Dragon Palace, the Demon Ancestor Palace, and the Divine Water Palace have the same idea. In the end, the emergence of this agreement just happened to give their 5 forces a relatively satisfactory answer. According to the content of the agreement, the main source of the beast tide of the Star Sea monster tide that is launched every 100 years is from the Black Dragon Palace, the Demon Ancestor Palace, and the Divine Water Palace. Chapter 808 Gathering at the Tangxing Palace. In order to check and balance each other, the Black Dragon Palace, the Demon Ancestor Palace, and the Divine Water Palace weakened external forces, relieved ecological pressure, and maintained the number of monsters. So, they came up with the idea of launching the Star Sea monster tide, using the hands of Penglai Fairyland and Star Sea to clean up the excess monsters and solve the problem of insufficient resources faced by themselves. In the eyes of Star Sea and Penglai Fairyland, this is a good way to weaken the strength of the other party. This kills the monsters, obtains resources, and can also promote their own development. On weekdays, cultivators will also go out to sea to hunt monsters, earn resources, and hone themselves. It just so happens that this agreement is not a loss for them. Once the monsters in the Black Dragon Palace, the Demon Ancestor Palace, and the Divine Water Palace are allowed to reproduce wantonly, they will eventually fill up the 10,000 monsters sea, and they will eventually invade the Star Sea. This regular cleaning is also a good idea. In this way, each of the 5 parties has its own interests. They will fight on a large scale every 100 years to test each other's bottom line. This agreement has continued to this day. The continuous expansion of the Boundary Sea also gradually expanded the scale of the Xinghai monster tide. The monsters in the inner sea began to flock to the center of the inner sea and entered the Wanjiantu. According to this trend, the scale of the Xinghai monster tide will gradually increase in the future. When the territory of the inner sea continues to shrink, everyone will fight for the survival territory, then this agreement will become a piece of waste paper. In the face of the devouring power of the Boundary Sea, the survival territory is the first priority. When the Xinghai is swallowed by the Boundary Sea, what should we do? After listening to Lu Shengyang's description, Chen Qingyun suddenly realized and had great concerns about the future of Xinghai. This agreement still exists. To put it bluntly, it is because the 3 major monster cultivators have been fighting internally and are incompatible, and there is also the containment of the mermaids in the outside world. Once they collude and form an alliance, they can completely destroy the Xinghai, Penglai Fairyland, Tongshan Demon Sea, and fight the mermaids on equal terms. It would certainly not be difficult for Penglai Fairyland, Xinghai, Tongshan Demon Sea, and the mermaids to join forces and wipe out the 3 major demon cultivators. But the problem is that the mermaids are also at odds with the human race and will not choose to join forces. There is no such thing as an alliance on the Tongshan Demon Sea side. They only care about themselves and like to stab in the back. No one wants to seek the skins of a tiger. There will be some risks involved in participating in the action. Chen Xianmin did not rush to agree, but chatted privately with Chen Qingyun through voice transmission. Xingzong invites you and Qingyun to participate in the action this time. According to Xingzong's background, they will not be too stingy in terms of rewards. But this is to fight against the Golden Core Demon King. I am not worried about you at all. At most, your cultivation will be exposed. I am still worried about Qingyun. As for the 5th sister, I don't think she will stay out of it. Chen Qingyun said, since Xingzong has taken the initiative to come to the door, it is not a bad idea to gain some reputation for the family and contribute to the Xinghai cultivation world. In another 36 years, Our Chen family will inevitably participate in the war and fight against those monsters. If we clear some threats in advance, we can also reduce some pressure on the clan members and reduce the probability of fighting against the Golden Core Demon King. Well, you think the same as I do. You can already put yourself in the shoes of the family. Chen Xianming said with a smile. This position of clan leader is really more and more suitable for you. The two communicated with each other and did not mention too much. Just a few general chats. There is no guarantee that Lu Shengyang has any means to hear the content of the voice transmission. Chen Qingyun is willing to accept the invitation from Xingzong for this visit, which is beneficial to the family. For himself, he can also earn a lot of good deeds, which can meet the needs of the subsequent exchange of Yuanying skills. Of course, if the treasure hunt in the ruins of the Five Elements sect does not yield the Yuanying skills, then the only option is to go to Xingzong to exchange for the Yuanying skills. At that time, the Chen family needs to strengthen their foundation and exchange the Yuanying skills in advance. As an excuse, it is expected that Xingzong will not think too much. After all, it is not that you will practice immediately after exchanging the skills. You can collect them first and practice them when your strength reaches the standard in the future. Many high-level skills also include the practice stages of the Purple Mansion period and the Golden Core period. Some senior members of Xingzong have practiced the Yuanying skills in advance. They can focus on one field of skills, which can avoid delaying the path of changing skills in the future. With Chen Qingyun's consent, Chen Xianming gave an accurate answer and spoke to Lu Shengyang. This star sea monster tide occurs every 100 years. If we don't start it, it will be a disaster. It will be a good thing for us to kill more Golden Core Monster Kings. Chen Xianming understood the pros and cons of this and nodded politely. Your sect's concerns are justified. As a star sea cultivator, we cannot stay out of it. It is our duty to participate in this action. Yes, Chen Qingyun said at the right time, I can accept your sect's invitation. Hearing this, Lu Shengyang's face immediately brightened and said, Okay, thank you for your great help, Chen Zhuxian envoy. Chen Xianming said, I still need to ask Qingyun what she thinks. I can't make the decision on this matter. If you are not busy, you may stay at my Chen family for a day or two, so that I can ask Qingyun what she thinks. Thank you for the hospitality of Patriarch Chen. Lu Shengyang smiled and shook his head, showing some apology. I'm really sorry, I still need to go to other places to invite other patrol envoys to participate in the operation. Time is precious, so I won't bother you. Why don't you visit me again tomorrow? Lu Shengyang told Chen Qingyun that if Chen Qingyun agreed, he would set off for Xingzong in 3 days and gather at Danxing Hall. After saying goodbye, Lu Shengyang set up a flying boat and flew directly to Xingliuo Islands to visit other families. At noon that day, Chen Qingyun returned to Lingjian Island and told Chen Qingyun about this matter. Knowing the interests involved, there was no need to hesitate. Chen Qingyun decided to participate in the operation with Chen Qingyun and earn some good deeds for herself. 3 days later, Xingzong, Danxing Hall. When Chen Qingyun and Chen Qingyun arrived here, more than a dozen cultivators had gathered here, most of whom were unfamiliar faces. Seeing Chen Qingyun and the other two coming, these cultivators cast their eyes one by one. Chen Qingyun took a quick look and saw a few familiar faces here, such as the Taoist Hongai from Hunyuan Island, Li Mubing from Xuanbing Island, the Red Spirit Patriarch, and the Han Patriarch. Seeing Chen Qingyun appear, Li Mubing nodded and greeted him first, with a smile on her face. Her personality is like this, she doesn't like to speak, and doesn't like to talk to people. If she hadn't worked with Chen Qingyun to explore the ruins of the Five Elements sect and established some friendship, she would probably just look at Chen Qingyun and wouldn't do anything else. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 809 Pengli Fairyland. Master Yuan Fu. Ancestor Han and Ancestor Hongling were standing together, talking about something. From time to time, several Purple Order Patrol Star envoys came forward to make friends and show their presence. Seeing an old acquaintance, Ancestor Han's eyes immediately lit up and waved to Chen Qingyun enthusiastically. "Fellow Taoist Chen, come here, come here." Ancestor Han's move attracted more attention to Chen Qingyun. Who is this person? So young, could he be a giant and cultivator? It's Chen Patrol Star Envoy from the Chen family of Lingjian Island. Around, several Purple Order Patrol Star envoys paid attention to Chen Qingyun. Some showed doubts, as it was the first time they saw Chen Qingyun in person. On the other hand, those Xingzong cultivators recognized Chen Qingyun at a glance. Being called out by Ancestor Han in public, Chen Qingyun became the focus of everyone's attention. He knew that he would inevitably be discussed, so he politely stepped forward and greeted Ancestor Han. Seeing Ancestor Han here was expected. In the Starry Sea, apart from the 5 major sects, there are not many giant and cultivators, and they can often be encountered in such occasions. Well, not bad, not bad. Looking at Chen Qingyun with a smile, Han Laozi said, "It has been a long time since we last parted. Your strength has indeed improved a bit. It is true that the new generation is better than the old one." Chen Qingyun secretly scanned with his spiritual sense and found that Han Laozi's cultivation had also increased. He reached the peak of the giant and stage and had just broken through. Out of courtesy, Chen Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "Fellow Taoist Han's cultivation has improved, which is also gratifying." Hongling Laozi turned his eyes and fell on Chen Qingyun, and asked out of curiosity, "Fellow Taoist Chen, who is the fairy next to you?" The eyes of several people fell on Chen Qingyun. Taking this opportunity, Chen Qingyun introduced Chen Qingyun next to him and met Li Mubing, Hongling Laozi, and Han Laozi. In the following chat, cultivators arrived one after another, and the number of people suddenly reached more than 30 people. Among these people, there were 5 unfamiliar faces, 3 men and 2 women, whose cultivation had reached the middle stage of the golden core or above. These 5 people gathered together and did not chat with other cultivators around them. They sat there quietly like an independent small team. Several people knew the origins of these 5 people. The Red Spirit Patriarch briefly revealed that these 5 people came from Penglai Fairyland in the 10,000 Monster Sea, and they were all cultivators. In order to deal with the monster tide in the Star Sea 36 years later, Penglai Fairyland and Xingzong reached a consensus and would clear out some golden core monster kings in the 10,000 Monster Sea in advance. In addition, they would assist Xingzong to eliminate some monster beasts that were threatening in the Star Sea. In Penglai Fairyland, the elders of Xingzong also took action recently and went to participate in the joint action. Because of the establishment of diplomatic relations with Penglai Fairyland, they jointly fought against the 3 forces of the Black Dragon Palace. In recent years, Xingzong has only 5 or 6 elders in charge. The rest of the elders were busy cleaning up monsters in the Star Sea and the Sea of Monsters. In the 3 recent Star Sea monster waves, due to the doubled pressure, the number of monsters far exceeded that of the past. The Star Sect and Penglai Fairyland had prepared early and started hunting monsters in advance. That's why the Star Sect sent Lu Shengyang to invite many star patrols to participate in this operation. In the final analysis, it was because of the lack of manpower. After just a while, Lu Shengyang and Long Taifeng soon appeared. Lu Shengyang glanced at everyone with a smile on his face, and said loudly, "Everyone, I've been waiting here for a long time." After that, Lu Shengyang went straight to the point. "Since everyone has expired, let's talk about the next action. This time, let you all gather here, and we need to rely on your help to clear out some giant and monster kings for our Star Sea. It will be hard for you all." There were a total of 39 people present, 16 giant and cultivators and 23 Zaifu cultivators. According to the plan of Xingzong, they were to be divided into 12 teams, and they would join hands with the cultivators of Penglai Immortal Realm to clear out 12 monster strongholds. In these strongholds, there was at least 1 giant and demon king lurking. After completing this mission, They would start the next round of island-grabbing missions, killing the demon kings on the other 3 spiritual islands and establishing them as frontline strongholds. According to their respective strengths, the people present were divided into different teams, and the Red Spirit Patriarch sent by Xingzong and 20 Purple Mansion cultivators participated in it. Chen Qingyun, Li Mubing, and the Red Spirit Patriarch were assigned to one team, and there were 6 Purple Mansion cultivators to assist them. They were to go to the 10,000 monsters seat to attack an island called Luo Salmon Island. There was a group of Yin Luo Salmon entrenched on the island, with a number of about 300. The strongest Yin Luo Salmon King had reached the 4th grade upper level. There were still some risks in dealing with this group of monsters, with only a giant and late-stage cultivator leading the team. The skin of the Yin Luo Salmon is thick and tough, and it can release a wide range of toxins to attack the enemy. A little bit of it is enough to be fatal. It is a very tricky monster. Xingzong took this into consideration and asked Li Mubing and Hongling Patriarch to lead the team together. According to Hongling Patriarch's strength, coupled with Li Mubing, this team has an 80% chance of winning. Chen Qingyun has witnessed Li Mubing's strength. Although this woman's cultivation has not yet broken through to the late giant stage, she has a good trump card in her hand. In the ruins of the 5 Elements sect, the opponent was able to fight against giant and ghost cultivators. The ice attribute skills that she practiced can also restrain the Yin Luo Salmon to a certain extent, occupying a considerable advantage. Chen Qingyun was relieved that Chen Qingyun could follow Li Mubing and Hongling Patriarch. In the previous conversation, it was learned that Chen Qingyun was Chen Qingyun's sister. Hongling Patriarch and Li Mubing were willing to take care of Chen Qingyun and help her at critical moments. As long as this mission was completed, Chen Qingyun could obtain 100,000 merits, and the giant and cultivators could obtain a higher amount of 250,000 merits. Chen Qingyun teamed up with a cultivator from Penglai Fairyland, a Jinling Patrol Star Envoy, and 3 Xingzong cultivators. Chen Qingyun noticed that this cultivator from Penglai Fairyland was a middle-aged man with strength in the middle stage of giant. Through the introduction, it was learned that this person was called Yuanfu Shangren, an elder of Danfu Island in Penglai Fairyland. Like Xinghai, Penglai Fairyland is a general term for a territory governed by a force, and the main body is composed of 9 major sects. These 9 major sects have their own characteristics, all of which are composed of cultivators and named after islands. Among them, Penglai Island is the leader and the head of the 9 major sects. The sea area divided out is called Penglai Fairyland. In terms of area, Penglai Fairyland is about the size of the Inner Star Sea. It is composed of 9 large spiritual islands, including Penglai Island, Danfu Island, Yingzhou Island, Fangyu Island, etc. There are also several large archipelagos scattered throughout this sea area. Chapter 810, Encountering the Black Dragon Again, Qingguang. In terms of overall strength, Penglai Immortal Realm is far superior to Xinghai. It has a Penglai Island Master in the God Transformation stage, and its foundation is quite profound. The other 8 Immortal Island sects each have at least 1 nascent soul cultivator. Any of them is enough to rival Xingzong, and they have been passed down for at least 1,000 years. In terms of magnitude, there is a feeling between Penglai Immortal Realm and Xinghai that the elder brother takes the younger brother to the sea to hunt wild, and Xinghai is this younger brother. Xinghai can be passed down to this day, and it is inseparable from the protection of Penglai Immortal Realm. Otherwise, it would have been swallowed up by the Black Dragon Palace and divided into the Wanyao Sea. In terms of magnitude, Xinghai is still far behind Penglai Immortal Realm. If the Xinghai cultivation world wants to grow in the future, it is not enough to just give birth to nascent soul cultivators to catch up with Penglai Immortal Realm. It still needs to have a God Transformation stage cultivator in charge. Understanding the gap between the two, whether Xinghai can be peaceful now also depends on whether the relationship with Penglai Immortal Realm is good. Chen Qingyun secretly shook his head at the feeling of putting his family's lifeline in the hands of others and letting others control it. The future of Xinghai still has a long way to go. If there is no assistance from Penglai Fairyland, we will fight against the Black Dragon Palace, the Demon Ancestor Palace, and the Divine Water Palace together. These three parties will fight each other and weaken their strength. I am afraid that Xinghai has long been in name only and is no longer under the rule of Xingzong. Where is the place for my Chen family to survive and inherit? As his cultivation and vision continued to improve, the idea that Xingzong was the whole sky, so powerful that it was unimaginable, became more and more shaken at this moment. The unchanging truth that there are people beyond people and there are heavens beyond heavens was deeply revealed at this moment. In front of the huge forces such as the Black Dragon Palace and the Demon Ancestor Palace, Xinghai was no different from a 3-year-old child holding a wooden sword. Xingzong left and did not guard Xinghai. I don't know whether he was careless or had other intentions to benefit Xinghai. This is not known for the time being. Unable to figure out the reason for the time being, Chen Qingyun stopped looking for troubles and focused on the task at hand. Speaking of which, the goal of this mission is to prepare to go to the eastern part of the 10,000 Demon Sea to attack a demon island called Liubo Island. This island was discovered by the Star Patrol in the past 15 years. There are more than 300 demon beasts living on the island, and there is also a 4th-level dragon. When Chen Qingyun saw the detailed information of this 4th-level dragon, he couldn't help but exclaimed in surprise. Why, is it this? The coincidence is here. This 4th-level dragon, in fact, came from the Star Sea and belonged to the old time of the Star Sect, the Black Dragon. Yes, it is the Black Dragon that has lived in the Black Dragon Sea for more than 200 years, assisted the Star Sect in fighting against 2 Star Sea monster tides, and killed a 4th-level monster. This Black Dragon is in the late Jiandan stage. In the last Star Sea monster tide, the Purple-Silver Dragon led 12 3rd-level monsters to raid the first frontline Xiaolong Island, and secretly obtained the assistance of the Black Dragon. It was also the Black Dragon's rebellion that betrayed the Star Sea and joined the Purple-Silver Dragon to raid Xiaolong Island, which caused Xiaolong Island to suffer heavy losses. The cultivators stationed on Xiaolong Island, and even the Star Sect, did not expect that their ally the Black Dragon would actually do such a backstabbing. The move of the knife. At that time, Qi Shan, the Grand Elder of the Qi family stationed on Xiaolong Island, who was in the late Jiandan stage, also never expected that he would be suddenly attacked by the Black Dragon when he was fighting with the Purple-Silver Dragon. The battle on Xiaolong Island finally made Qi Shan die on the spot. The 300 Xingzong monks stationed on the island and the 600 monks from various parties were almost wiped out, and only 7 or 8 people escaped. The large teleportation array built on the island was also destroyed by the monster group, and the economic loss exceeded 1 million. The fall of the strategic center of Xiaolong Island exposed the entire southern part of Xinghai to the impact of the beast tide, causing panic. In the end, it was the Xingzong who was furious and sent the 3 Jiandan ancestors Zhu, Liang, and Yang to launch a 1,000,000-mile raid at the first time, pulled out the tendons and skin of the Purple-Silver Dragon, and killed it in the sea. Within 1,000 miles of Xiaolong Island, all the visible monsters were killed by the 3 ancestors. The 3 ancestors killed 3,000 3rd-level monsters, making Xiaolong Island a forbidden place for monsters. This led to the subsequent reconstruction of the teleportation array on Xiaolong Island and the establishment of the battle line, which prevented greater losses in time. It was a pity that the Black Dragon was cunning and slippery. It left the Purple-Silver Dragon early and fled thousands of miles away. It fled to the Sea of 10,000 monsters and never showed up again. There was no news from then on. The Purple-Silver Dragon took the blame for the Black Dragon, and it could not escape the pursuit of Zhu, Liang, and Yang, 3 veteran Jiandan cultivators, and was killed on the same day. Thinking of the battle that year, Chen Qingyun frowned slightly, and had no good impression of this Black Dragon. Now that the other party has exposed his whereabouts and has been listed as a target for killing by the Xingzong, it is considered that he deserves it. As long as he meets him, he must not show any mercy. As for why this Black Dragon rebelled and betrayed the Xingzong, what is the reason? It is nothing more than profit. This time, the mission is to kill the Black Dragon and clear all the monsters on Liubo Island. Chen Qingyun's eyes fell on the information of his teammates. Another Jiandan cultivator in the team, the Jinling Patrol Star Envoy, is from the Qi family. He is Qi Shan's uncle,
named Qingguang. Qingguang has white hair and wears a clean and elegant robe. He looks like a gentle jade teacher, holding a scroll in his hand. Knowing that the black dragon was to be killed, Qingguang's face showed no strange color, and he looked very calm, which attracted Chen Qingyun to look at him twice. The great elder of the Qi family died in the battle, and died at the hands of the black dragon. This was undoubtedly a huge blow to the Qi family. It can be said that the Qi family hated this black dragon and wanted to eat its flesh and drink its blood. It must not be a coincidence that Xingzong arranged the task this time and let Qingguang participate in the action of killing the black dragon. Xingzong must have done it intentionally to give the Qi family this opportunity for revenge. Qingguang was so calm at this time. Did he know the arrangement of Xingzong a long time ago? Or did he not show his emotions on his face and deliberately endure it? Chen Qingyun did not explore the reason. Sensing Chen Qingyun's gaze, Qingguang raised his head and looked at Chen Qingyun, with a trace of doubt on his face, and then recovered his expression. Chen Qingyun did not think about it anymore, and turned to look at the reward for this task. The three Jiandan monks joined forces, and the difficulty was greater than Chen Qingyun's mission, and the rewards were more generous. As long as the mission was completed, the Jiandan monks could get 500,000 merits. If they failed, there would be a 30% reward, so it would not be a waste of time. Compared with other missions, Chen Qingyun paid attention and found that his mission was still one of the most difficult ones. Chapter 811 Cold Flame Flower. In other tasks, there are also 3 Golden Elixir monks who form a team and need to deal with the peak Golden Elixir monster. The other 3 Zaifu monks who participated were all from the Star Sect. There are 2 brothers and sisters, one named Man Jingshu and the other named Man Qianyang. This pair of man brothers and sisters, both of whom were in the later stages of Zaifu, took the initiative to greet Chen Qingyun. The last one is at the peak of Zaifu's cultivation, and claims to be Song Renyi. He is a short old man over 300 years old, who looks a bit weird and clever. Everyone arranged their tasks and began to set off one after another. Star Sect issued a 4th level flying star boat to each team as a means of travel. In terms of mission information, we have already found out clearly. Participants in each team were handed out a jade slip, which recorded detailed information. That day, spaceships took off one after another, flying in different directions, and needed to carry out their missions as soon as possible. The maximum deadline for the task given by Xingzong is 3 years, so as not to cause changes if it is too late. Liubo Island is located in the eastern direction of the Star Sea, beyond the scope of the Star Sea, and is located in the Sea of 10,000 Demons. Since there was plenty of time, Chen Qingyun and his party did not take the teleportation array, but drove the flying star boat directly to their destination. More than half a month later, the Xingzhu flew out of the Star Sea realm and continued straight into the Sea of 10,000 Demons. Its figure seemed very small in this vast sea. When Chen Qingyun and others entered the Sea of 10,000 Demons on Liubo Island, a secret underground cave. A slender man in a dark green robe was sitting on a large ornate chair. He looked majestically at the man in black who was lowering his head to report, nodding from time to time. I saw that the man in black robe looked strange. Although he was in human form, he looked 30 or 40 years old. But what is striking is that the pupils are still black and red, and the fingers and arms are also covered with black scales. This is obviously not what a human should look like, but a demon cultivator. The demon cultivator was nodding and bowing, reporting on the situation on the island and whether the surroundings had been calm recently. When he mentioned the spiritual plants growing there at the end of the cave, his tone became extremely serious. Master of the cave, this cold flame flower will mature in another 4 to 5 years. As long as you take it by then, you will definitely be able to break through to the late nascent soul stage. When that time comes, you can take the position of cave master. The man in black robe didn't finish his words. He seemed worried and looked around subconsciously, fearing that the wall had ears. The man in green robe on the seat is none other than Zhang Yuan, the deputy cave master of Kuish Cave. The man in black robe below is 89% transformed into a black dragon. At the mention of the cold flame flower, Zhang Yuan narrowed his eyes and showed a bit of greed on his face. The cold flame flower was discovered on this island. It has been growing for more than 400 years and is about to mature. It is also very attractive to Yuan monsters. The black dragon originally wanted to swallow it for himself and save it for future use. Unfortunately, he was discovered by Zhang Yuan, who was traveling here recently. Therefore, the black dragon could only pretend to be offering a treasure and reluctantly parted ways to avoid angering Zhang Yuan. Zhang Yuan was determined to win this kind of heaven and earth spirit essence, and said with a hint of warning, "The cold flame flower is very picky about the growth environment. It can only grow in places with strong darkness and cold air. It has the ability to assist nascent soul. The magical effect of allowing creatures to break through the realm. If you keep this thing here, you can't control it. Dedicating it to me can be regarded as repaying my kindness for giving you the transformation grass. You are aware of the current situation. But the ugly words are ahead. Don't treat me like the bugs in Xinghai." Mentioning what happened back then, Black Dragon snorted secretly and forced a smile on his face. "Please, don't worry, Cave Master. I have always wanted to join Kuish Cave and follow Ming Master. If I hadn't been promoted by you and taken the shape-shifting grass, I wouldn't have achieved what I have today." Before the demon tide broke out in the Star Sea that year, Kuishedong received instructions from the Demon Ancestor Palace to collect some 4th-level demon beasts in the Star Sea and divide them into their own camps to act as internal agents. The reason for doing this is to attack Xinghai internally and externally. This move is for the demon cultivators to learn from the human race's calculations and try to outwit them. The more advanced a demon cultivator is, the less he likes to rely on brute force to win. Among the benefits offered by Kuishedong, the most attractive one is the transforming grass. Although these transformation grasses are only the 4th level, they are still far from the best 5th level transformation grasses. But even so, it is extremely precious, and each one is priceless. It can help 4th level monsters to open their intelligence and transform into humans, reaching an 89-point similarity. The black dragon had already been spotted by Shitu, the protector of Kuish Cave, more than 80 years ago before the Xinghai demon tide was about to attack. Shitu used a 4th-level transformed grass as an inducement, and successfully attracted the black dragon to switch sides and join Kuish Cave. In the face of the temptation of spiritual enlightenment and human transformation, almost all monsters cannot refuse. The human body is a natural Taoist body. Legend has it that it is loved by heaven and earth. It is a race of intelligent beings shaped by immortals based on their own appearance. Although the human race has a short lifespan and does not have a strong physical body. But he can open his spiritual wisdom early, awaken his spiritual root talent, and has excellent learning ability. He can improve his own shortcomings through learning and practice. With the blessing of this kind of spiritual wisdom, the upper limit of human development is very high, and the body can also be adapted to countless exercises, and even the immortal method can be practiced, so that the wisdom and talent far exceed other races. This is the advantage of the human race, and it is what the monsters envy the most. As for monsters, since they are mostly limited by factors such as blood, lifespan, and physical size, the achievements they can achieve are ultimately limited. The most common 1st level, 2nd level, and 3rd level monsters, etc., are difficult to achieve a leap in bloodline grades, and are restricted to the peak of growth from birth. They want to be born with spiritual intelligence, and only a very small number of races need to survive for tens of millions or tens of thousands of years before they can awaken their spirits. Compared with the human race, which has spiritual intelligence from birth, this is the biggest weakness of monsters. This is why, even if monsters look down on the human race, they often call them ants and insects. But the higher level monsters, when they grow to the later stage, will choose to transform into humans and no longer practice with their original bodies. Only by transforming into humans can they have the opportunity to go to the next level. Due to the blood inheritance of the race, the black dragon has some spiritual intelligence, and knows the benefits of this transformation grass to itself, so how can it refuse it? You have this awareness, and it is worthwhile for me to have a transformation grass. Zhang Yun's mouth curled up a smile, and then he looked at the black dragon firmly, and said in a commanding tone, "Listen to me, for the next 5 years, you stay on this island and take care of the 3 cold flame flowers until they mature. During this period of guarding, you'd better not go anywhere, and don't tell anyone about the existence of the cold flame flowers." After a pause, Zhang Yuan's face showed a fierce look, which made the black dragon feel a little scared. "If there is any problem with the cold flame flower, if there is any mistake, don't blame me for eating you alive." The black dragon didn't dare to offend Zhang Yuan at all. Knowing the gap between them, he nodded in response. "Don't worry, Cave Master, I will stay here and keep an eye on those cold flame flowers. Well, if you encounter anything wrong later, and even you can't solve it, please inform me immediately, don't be too self-righteous." After Zhang Yuan said this, he sent down a communication talisman, which landed in front of the black dragon. Chapter 812 Nascent Soul Mark. The black dragon dared not disobey Zhang Yuan's order, and could only agree humbly and accept the communication talisman. "Yes, I will follow the arrangements of the cave master." Knowing the importance of the cold flame flower, Zhang Yuan separated another strand of the nascent soul mark, which appeared in the form of an ink-ringed octopus and flew towards the black dragon. This move startled the black dragon, and he instinctively took a few steps back, thinking that this was some kind of harm. "Why are you panicking? If I want to kill you, why would I keep you until now?" Zhang Yuan showed majesty, and the nascent soul mark quickly merged into the black dragon's demon pill under the black dragon's nervous gaze. "This is the nascent soul mark left by me. This mark can be triggered passively, and it can burst out the peak power of the golden core. Once you encounter a fatal attack, it will take effect immediately, and I will be able to detect it at the first time." Zhang Yuan said. "Nascent soul cultivators have great magical powers and many means. In order to protect blood relatives and important juniors, they usually sacrifice their own vitality and leave a nascent soul mark on the other party to achieve the effect of protection, which is equivalent to a life-saving talisman. This kind of nascent soul mark will also have different powers according to the caster's cultivation and the degree of loss of vitality. The one laid by Zhang Yuan is just the most basic and simple one. It cherishes its life very much. If it were not for this cold flame flower, it would not care about the safety of the black dragon at all. The black dragon is not qualified to let itself consume vitality and lay a nascent soul mark that can exert a blow of a nascent soul cultivator. At this moment, it only consumes a little mana. As long as it can achieve the effect of warning, it can issue a warning when the black dragon faces a life and death crisis. Hearing Zhang Yuan's explanation, the black dragon breathed a sigh of relief and carefully felt the nascent soul mark left in its body. It felt that there was no difference from the past. "I have said what I should say. From now on, you will follow my instructions and stay here well, don't go anywhere." After giving instructions, Zhang Yuan said nothing more and went to the end of the cave to check the god-avoiding restriction here to make sure there was no problem. This god-avoiding restriction can avoid the detection of the spiritual sense of cultivators below the nascent soul stage. After discovering these cold flame flowers, the black dragon deliberately set them up in order to keep them for himself and avoid being discovered by human cultivators. This god-avoiding restriction was purchased by the black dragon after asking from several major demon cultivators in the Wanjiantu. It almost cost the black dragon his entire fortune. It is a pity that even though it cost such a high price, it did not hide from Zhang Yuan's eyes. Zhang Yuan's original body, the ink-ring octopus, has a keen sense of the treasures of heaven and earth. When passing by the Liubo Island, it noticed something unusual, which led to its current actions. After confirming that the god-avoiding restriction was correct, Zhang Yuan personally set up a small formation. This formation is called the Void Spirit Formation, which is only of the second level lower grade. Its effect is to cover up the world, change the terrain environment, and achieve the effect of invisibility. With the prohibition of avoiding gods and the cover of the Void Spirit Formation, Zhang Yuan was relieved with such double protection. After informing the Black Dragon about the effect of the Void Spirit Formation here and telling him not to move at will, Zhang Yuan stayed for a while, caught a few second-level monsters on the island to fill his stomach, and then flew away from Liubo Island alone and flew towards the Kuish Cave. 2 days later, Chen Qingyun and his party flew to the vicinity of Liubo Island, and the scenery of the sea area had changed a little. Looking around, the seawater showed a richer dark blue, and the sky was covered with dark clouds. It seemed that a thunderstorm was coming. The atmosphere on the flying boat was silent, and several people were quietly resting their spirits to ensure that their strength remained at the peak. It was not until more than half an hour later that the outline of a black island appeared in the distance, which began to attract the attention of several people. Song Renyu hesitated again and again, but still chose to break the calm. He looked at Chen Qingyun, Master Yuan Fu, and Qingguang, and spoke respectfully. "Senior, we are almost at Liubo Island. Please decide how to proceed." The Jade Slip recorded the details of Liubo Island. There were more than 370 monsters in total, including 3 third-level monsters and more than 100 second-level monsters. The leading black dragon had already advanced to the peak of the golden elixir, and it was unknown what great luck it had, but it turned into a human form. The entire Liubo Island was not big, and it was the only island within a radius of 10,000 miles. This time, Xingzong suggested to attack unexpectedly, so that the black dragon would not notice something wrong and turn around and run away cunningly. Qingguang, who had been silent all the time, raised his eyes slightly, glanced at Liubo Island from a distance, and said in a calm tone, "We already know the situation on Liubo Island. Whether it is true or not has yet to be verified, so we naturally cannot rashly set foot in it. This black dragon is insidious and cunning, no less than those demon cultivators. We must not alert the snake and give it any chance to escape." Qingguang acted cautiously and would not easily believe the intelligence collected by Xingzong and directly rush into Liubo Island. Qishan's tragedy made Qingguang hate this black dragon while keeping a high degree of vigilance in his heart. If Xingzong's intelligence is wrong, there will be an extra 4th level monster. Or if this black dragon has some bad luck and breaks through to the 5th level, then rashly breaking in will have troublesome consequences. Thinking of this, Qingguang turned around and asked Song Renyu. "Song Ziyu, as a disciple of Xingzong, how sure are you about the results of Xingzong's intelligence?" When Qingguang said this, Song Renyu was stunned and didn't know how to answer for a moment. How could he question the intelligence obtained by his own sect, and he would not say that the sect was not good in front of the man brothers and sisters. But if he said that the intelligence was fine, wouldn't it be questioning Qingguang's judgment? This would offend a giant and senior. It's not unreasonable for fellow Taoist Qi to be cautious. When you go out, it's better to be safe than sorry. Master Yuan Fu controlled the flying star boat to hover in the air, glanced at Song Renyu who dared not say much, and then his eyes fell on Chen Qingyun. "Fellow Taoist Chen, your strength exceeds that of this old man. What do you think is the most appropriate way to proceed with this next action?" As the strongest person in the team, Chen Qingyun was assumed to be the leader of the team by default because he showed his peak giant in cultivation. Chen Qingyun frowned secretly because he was praised as the leader of the team. He didn't want to be too prominent and attract too much attention. It has come to this point, so we can only accept this identity. The situation on the Demon Island may change rapidly. To be safe, let's go and explore it ourselves. As soon as Chen Qingyun finished speaking, Qingguang held a scroll in one hand and stroked his beard with the other hand, then nodded slowly. Chapter 813 Belly Spirit Bird. That's what I mean. Master Yuan Fu smiled faintly and immediately released his spiritual consciousness. Several people made a move almost at the same time, releasing their spiritual consciousness and exploring the Liubo Island. Chen Qingyun's spiritual consciousness was the strongest, covering the entire Liubo Island, and he could clearly detect the number of monsters on the island at once. Indeed, as described in the intelligence, there are a total of 376 monsters on the island, and there is not much difference in strength. The black dragon is currently hidden in a cave. According to Star Sex intelligence records, the black dragon has indeed transformed into a human form,
appearing in a black robe, with blood-red pupils, and black scales growing on its forehead and arms. How could a fourth-level monster transform into a human being? This black dragon has lived in the Star Sea for more than 200 years, but it has never appeared in human form. The consciousness of the nascent soul stage swept over the black dragon's body, but the black dragon didn't notice it at all. Chen Qingyun paid careful attention, and secretly became vigilant in his heart, only feeling that something was wrong. Generally, only the demon cultivators from the 10,000 demons and sea monsters ancestral palace, the Black Dragon Palace, and the Shinshui Palace will transform in advance, or take on a half-human, half-demon form. Is it possible that this black dragon is related to the forces of demon cultivators? Is this the reason for the rebellion back then? This idea emerged, since the star sex information did not describe this point. The answer can only be known by verifying it from the mouth of the black dragon. Chen Qingyun doesn't need to worry too much about this, as long as he can successfully complete this mission. The consciousness continued to scan, and at the entrance of this cave, there were 3 purple monsters guarding the entrance, which were 3 land monsters. I have not looked into the other information on the island in detail for the time being. These can be explored carefully after the monsters are cleared. Chen Qingyun's investigation is complete. Soon, Master Yuan Fu, Qingguang and others all withdrew their spiritual consciousness and gained confidence in their hearts. There is no discrepancy with the intelligence. There is no problem with the actual situation. Then we will take action immediately. Master Yuan Fu opened his mouth and cast a questioning look at Chen Qingyun, then glanced at Qingguang and the man brothers and sisters. Chen Qingyun nodded. The group of people reached a consensus and started to move forward with the flying boat. They arrived above Liubo Island and more than 10 breaths. On the island, under the orders of the Black Dragon, there are monsters who are responsible for monitoring the surrounding activities and paying attention to whether there are any foreign enemies intruding. As soon as the flying star boat approached Liubo Island, 2 birds and monsters immediately noticed it and immediately raised their heads to the sky and screamed, issuing a warning. They are raptors. They are really sharp. Song. Renyi looked down and recognized the origin of the 2 demonic birds. The raptor is a second-level monster with very sensitive hearing and vision. It is a natural scout among monsters. At this moment, these 2 raptors sensed the foreign enemy, and their chirping sounds were particularly harsh, making people's hearts tremble. Anticipating that their actions would be exposed, Chen Qingyun and the others looked at each other in disbelief. Then each made a move quietly and launched an offensive one after another. Master Yuan Fu took the lead, releasing dozens of red spiritual birds from his cuffs, and launched the attack first. These birds gather in flocks. Each one is about the size of an eagle, and its feathers look like burning flames. Each one looks bright and beautiful, which is quite beautiful. This bird is called the belly spirit bird, and it is a spiritual pet cultivated by Master Yuan Fu. Each one has reached the 2nd level of the best level. Together, it can fight against 3rd-level creatures. What's great about them is that in addition to being extremely fast, they can also release flames similar to the spiritual fire of heaven and earth, which can burn everything. Seeing Master Yuan Fu's methods and recognizing the belly spirit bird, Chen Qingyun couldn't help but take a second look. Spirit birds such as the belly spirit bird have only been seen in classics before. They are ancient spirit birds that are almost extinct. They are the nemesis of water and ice type creatures. Master Yuan Fu deserves to be from the Penglai immortal realm. Once he takes action, the spiritual pet revealed is not simple, and he doesn't know what other methods he has. Chen Qingyun withdrew his gaze, raised his hand, and left the immortal palace, with golden light shining in his hand. One after another figures were seen flying out from the immortal palace, turning into meteors and falling down, followed closely by the belly spirit bird, and together they covered several monster beasts below. What method is this? Puppet Master? The man brothers and sisters witnessed Chen Qingyun's action for the first time. This revelation released as unpuppet. They couldn't help but look puzzled and secretly paid attention. Qingguang looked at the puppets. At first glance, there were at least 30 of them. After scanning it with his spiritual consciousness, He actually noticed the aura of peak foundation building on the puppet. It is not unusual to have puppets at the peak of foundation establishment. What is strange is that there are so many of them. This is not simple. This made Qingguang look at Chen Qingyun with a little surprise, and saw Chen Qingyun standing quietly with one hand holding the Immortal Palace. The light in the Immortal Palace was still exuding charm, and the figure continued to fly out. After releasing 55 elements puppets, the two clones of Bow and Arrow and Vulcan followed closely and landed on the island together. Sensing the gaze, Chen Qingyun glanced back at Qingguang, which made Qingguang feel as if he was being looked down upon by some supreme being, and he felt a sense of fear in his heart. This man is very powerful. I'm afraid he's not as simple as he looks. I don't know how many puppets he has in his hands. No wonder the Star Sect would send him to act with us. With his participation this time, this black dragon is unable to fly. Qingguang murmured in his heart, secretly happy, and also took action, casting fire magic, shooting fire bombs, falling like raindrops. He decided to lure out the black dragon, and then launch a thunder attack, and fight quickly. The other man brothers and sisters, Song Renyi and the other three, each controlled the flying sword, flying needle and magic staff, and launched a series of attacks. The three Jianden cultivators and the three Zaifu cultivators attacked together, and the battle started in an instant. The two raptors were first surrounded by the belly spirit bird, and were killed in one move, buried in the flames. Then the 5 elements puppets fell to the ground like a cannonball, splashing dust, holding tridents, each locked on the target, and started to kill. Rumble. Along with the explosion of fire, Qingguang's firebomb attack followed closely, first clearing these visible monsters, and directly luring the black dragon out. Instantly, there was a roar on Liubo Island, and the ground was shaking. The black dragon heard the movement outside the cave and became alert. As expected, it immediately ran out to check, and at first glance, it saw that the exposed monsters not far away were quickly killed. More monsters were alarmed and appeared one by one, and a few rushed towards the cave in panic. What happened was obviously not worth thinking about. The black dragon narrowed his eyes, and when he saw the figures of Chen Qingyun and others, a fierce look appeared on his face. Damn it, it still attracted human cultivators. Chapter 814 Demon Refining Pot, Sealing the Heaven and Locking the Earth. The black dragon has transformed, and it has some wisdom. It guessed that Chen Qingyun and his men dared to attack so openly, so it must have some confidence. Realizing this, the black dragon was not willing to start fighting rashly, but retreated behind the 3 third-level monsters guarding the cave, raised his head and asked loudly, "I have no hatred with you. This is the first time I see you. Why are you invading my territory?" In terms of speaking, the black dragon did not master it very well, and could only roughly express the literal meaning. There was no obvious hostility in his tone for the time being. Several people had been paying attention to the black dragon and paying attention to the cave entrance. When they saw the black dragon appear, their eyes were immediately focused on the black dragon. This black dragon has indeed transformed, and it looks like a real person. Master, Yuan Fu looked at the black dragon with interest. While speaking, his eyes looked at Qingguang intentionally or unintentionally. Chen Qingyun noticed Master Yuan Fu's actions, and he also remained calm and paid attention to Qingguang's next move. According to Xingzong's intention, Qingguang was arranged to participate in this mission, which obviously meant to satisfy his revenge. Qingguang must have received this news long ago, and must have made some preparations, so he could kill the black dragon with great confidence. In this case, they don't need to compete for the credit of killing the black dragon, as long as they assist Qingguang in killing the black dragon. Qingguang didn't care about Chen Qingyun at all at this moment. Master Yuan Fu's eyes were full of murderous intent, and he looked at the black dragon and responded coldly. "The revenge of my nephew Qi Shan back then, today, I will settle it properly." This voice, with the blessing of the golden elixir magic, was like a huge bell, resounding through the world and spreading to every corner of Liubo Island. Hearing this, the black dragon's expression froze at first, and then he looked carefully at the appearance and clothes of Qingguang.
Chen Qingyun and others. When he saw the uniform clothes of the Man brothers and sisters and Song Renyi, he could not recognize them. "You are sent by Xingzong." The one who responded to the black dragon was Qingguang's life magic weapon. A fiery red pot-shaped magic weapon grew to a size of 3 feet in the air, and it covered the black dragon's head. From the mouth of the pot, a blazing flame swept out, dyeing the world into a fiery red, and the surrounding temperature rose rapidly. This is a 4th level top-grade magic weapon, the Demon Refining Pot, which is made in imitation of the top spiritual treasure Demon Refining Gourd of Penglai Island. It has the power to burn the sky and boil the sea, and refine demons. This time, in order to deal with the black dragon, Qingguang borrowed this family magic weapon from the family, vowing to refine this black dragon alive. The blazing flame swept over, and the black dragon did not dare to be careless, and spit out a tortoise shell magic weapon. As soon as this magic weapon appeared, it immediately turned into a size of 10 feet, covering the black dragon's head, resisting the attack of the demon refining fire. You can also control magic tools, which is quite interesting. Master Yuan Fu snorted coldly when he saw this. A silver-white talisman appeared in his hand and was thrown downward. Lock the world, and the blue sky is reflected. As Master Yuan Fu spoke as fast as ice. Seal the lock the world, the blue sky is reflected talisman was triggered. Mysterious power spread from the talisman in an instant, covering the black dragon's head, and thus the ground was drawn as a prison, covering the area of 10,000 meters, the sky and the ground. In the sky, lakes, sea water, mountains, canyons and other scenes were reflected, as if the scene of Liubo Island was inverted in the sky. In an instant, the black dragon became a turtle in a jar, unable to escape. Noticing the scene reflected in the sky after the talisman was activated, Chen Qingyun's eyes moved, and he couldn't help but glance at Master Yuan Fu. Locking the heaven and earth, the reflection of the blue sky. When the United Star sect went to Black Sand Island together to eradicate the headquarters of Jian Island and kill the demon cultivators such as Gui Laomo had used such a talisman. At that time, after using this method, a reflection appeared in the sky. The area of 10,000 meters was blocked and turned into a cage. Afterwards, I learned the origin of this mysterious talisman from the story of the Red Spirit Patriarch. This locking heaven and earth, the reflection of the blue sky, came from the Yuan Fu Patriarch of Penglai Fairyland. This Yuan Fu master came from Danfu Island, and the names are so similar. Could it be that he is the descendant of Yuan Fu master? Chen Qingyun was quite curious about the specific origin of this Yuan Fu master. He must have a deep foundation to be able to cast such a talisman with one move. Looking at Qingguang's side, his attack did not work, which was considered to be a test of the strength of the black dragon. Seeing that Master Yuan Fu was so good at assisting, sealing off this part of the world and trapping the black dragon, Qingguang was delighted. What a great way to seal the sky and lock the earth. Thank you, Daoist Yuan Fu. As soon as the voice fell, Qingguang continued to activate the demon refining pot and launched another attack. At the same time, Chen Qingyun's mind moved, and the bow and arrow and the god of fire clone all went out to surround the black dragon and launched attacks respectively. The 3 giant and cultivators attacked at the same time, and the black dragon was immediately in a mess under the 3 different attacks. It said no more, and could only rely on the tortoise shell magic weapon to defend again to resist the attack of the demon refining pot. With 2 bangs, the arrows and the flaming flying swords crossed the sky and hit the tortoise shell magic weapon fiercely. They came from the bow and arrow and the god of fire clone. These 2 attacks directly shook the tortoise shell magic weapon, buzzing and vibrating violently for several times. The black dragon's expression changed drastically when he saw this. He could only use his magic weapon to dodge to one side and call on the surrounding monsters to attack and interfere with Chen Qingyun and the other 2. Looking at the Man brothers and sisters, Song Renyi and the other 2, they had already used their magic weapons and started to assist. The 3 magic weapons had different lights and fell forward, hitting the monsters and clearing obstacles for Chen Qingyun and the other 2. Avoiding the flame attack of the demon refining pot,
The black dragon realized that this battle was a bit tricky, and had the idea of escaping, and quickly fled in one direction. But after escaping for several thousand meters, the next moment, he noticed a huge resistance in front of him, reflecting an invisible wall in front of him. The black dragon gritted his teeth secretly and rushed up with his head held high. The result is self-evident. He hit the blockade barrier and was blocked. These human cultivators have so many tricks. What should I do now? The black dragon could only change to a strong attack, and sacrificed 2 third-level flying swords, slashing at the talisman blockade barrier fiercely. With 2 clangs, the flying sword was deflected. Not only did it fail to break through the blockade barrier, but it didn't even leave a trace. The black dragon panicked and was about to attack with its body again, when the demon refining pot and several metal chains came quickly. Seeing that the black dragon was trapped here, Qingguang was overjoyed, and regardless of the consumption of mana, he urged the demon refining pot to exert its maximum power. Chapter 815 Genjin Sword Qi, 5 Elements Book. This magic weapon for refining demons releases blazing fire, covering an area of 1,000 meters in flames. The black dragon wanted to avoid it, but Chen Qingyun's attack was just right, slowing down its movement. The Vulcan clone used the jinxing technique and condensed 3 thick metal chains, which immediately restricted the movement speed of the black dragon. Seeing that something was not going well, the black dragon could only roar and transformed into its true form, becoming 100 feet in size and breaking away from the restraints of the metal chains. A large amount of water spewed out from its mouth and rolled forward, trying to extinguish the flames. The black dragon is a water attribute monster. It can control the power of this surrounding water to assist itself. It has an innate advantage in fighting in the water. It's a pity that this will be on land, which is not enough to show the advantage, so we can only be trapped on this land. These demon refining fires cannot be extinguished by ordinary water, and they are not affected at all. Whoops, whoops. More intense flames were released from the demon refining pot, surrounding the black dragon and trapping it in the sea of fire. In terms of fighting alone, Black Zhao is not Chen Qingyun, Master Yuan Fu's opponent, and he can only fight Qingguang with a 50-50 draw. At this time, facing the joint attack of 3 people, who could be their opponent. Chen Qingyun and Master Yuan Fu, with the intention of letting Qingguang kill the black dragon with his own hands, did not attack with all their strength. The 2 of them just provided a little assistance to contain the black dragon. Even so, Black Dragon soon fell into a disadvantage. It was hit from the front by the demon refining pot, and was trapped in the demon refining fire. It began to struggle violently, its whole body was ignited by flames, and it turned into a fire dragon and let out a painful roar. The black dragon tried to escape to a place without flames and take a breath for the time being. The Vulcan and bow and arrow clones, together with the 10 5 elements puppets, seized this opportunity and used the jinxing technique together to condense dozens of metal iron chains. These iron chains were extremely flexible, strong and resistant to high temperatures. They clattered around and bound the black dragon tightly in one fell swoop. Master Yuan Fu saw the opportunity and created a circular magical weapon. A golden light was reflected in the ring and fell on the black dragon, temporarily immobilizing the black dragon's body. This ring is called the Ring of Heaven and Earth, and its effect is to immobilize the body for 1 or 2 breaths, and it plays a decisive role in the battle. The black dragon was burned by the flames of the demon refining pot and had no time to care about anything else at this moment. Being restrained by Chen Qingyun again, he could not escape the coming golden light. He suddenly turned into a statue and was frozen in place. Qingguang saw this perfect opportunity, his expression turned cold, and he released a stronger demon refining fire, pouring it all over the black dragon. The fierce burning lasted for 2 breaths. The black dragon's skin was torn open and its bones were melted, and deep fear was revealed in its eyes. It regrets it now. I regretted not choosing to escape earlier when I saw Chen Qingyun and others, even if I had sent a summons to notify Zhang Yuan for help. It endured the severe pain, relied on its explosive power, swung its body and pulled hard, breaking half of the metal chains. Then there was a sudden tug and pull, trying to move the position, and ran to a lake in the distance to cool down. This is just the beginning. I've refined you today. Qingguang's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He completely lost the appearance of the elegant and easy-going old scholar before, and transformed into a murderous god. He made a secret in his hand and launched a flying sword. This flying sword reached the 4th level of high quality. After it appeared, under the stimulation of the skill, it turned into 36 flying swords, forming a small sword formation, and fell like rain. These flying swords penetrated the earth and formed a sword array, further sealing the black dragon. A large amount of Qingguang sword energy condensed and swept towards the black dragon crazily. The black dragon had already lost half of his life under the burning flames. Now he would be unable to withstand the Qingguang sword energy attack again. It was covered with Qingguang sword energy, and bloody holes were torn out on its body, spilling a large amount of blood. Most of this blood was burned and evaporated by the demon refining fire when it appeared. Only a few made a hissing sound and bursts of mist after landing. Under such a high-intensity attack, the black dragon became a target, unable to withstand it at all, and even began to beg for mercy in order to survive. I am already the protector of Demon Ancestor Hall. If you dare to kill me, you will definitely not have an easy time in the future. The Demon Ancestor Palace will never let you go. It's better not to beg for mercy. Maybe he can die a little slower. Qingguang also wanted to torture the black dragon more and would not kill it so cheaply. When he learned that the black dragon had defected to Demon Ancestor Hall, Qingguang frowned and responded with a cold snort. So what if Demon Ancestor Hall kill my chief family, and I will still cramp and skin you today? In the Xinghai Demon Tide, they were originally going to face the Demon Ancestor Palace. Qingguang knew very well that even if he stopped and let the black dragon go, this monster would definitely hold a grudge. When the time comes, it will only put the Qi family in a sea of fire. Instead of doing this, it would be better to kill this guy happily. Why should he accept such a threat? It's the Demon Ancestor Hall again. When Chen Qingyun heard the word Monster Ancestor Palace Protector, he subconsciously thought of Kua's Snake Cave. The previous doubts will finally be solved. It seems that the Black Dragon's rebellion is related to the Demon Ancestor Palace. No wonder it can also transform into a human being. As for whether the other party recognized him as a wanted person in Kua's Cave, it didn't matter. This black dragon couldn't be kept. Qingguang's murderous intent was not concealed on his face. He unfolded the scroll in his hand and made a gesture with his hands. He saw it hanging in front of him, and there were rays of light inside. One by one, ancient characters emerged from the scroll, showing the size of a palm. Each one seemed to have vitality and surrounded the black dragon. This scroll, called the Five Elements Scroll, was Qingguang's life magic weapon. Once it was used, the 5 attribute characters recorded in it about gold, wood, water, fire and earth could each show their power, and the flexibility was very high. The word fire, combined with several other characters, evolved into the word burning the sky and boiling the sea, and a large amount of flames were generated, expanding the area of the flame. The word wind, also arranged and combined with other characters, presented the word raging wind and roaring, which instantly rolled up a raging wind and further increased the power of the flame. Just these 2 types of text attacks have greatly increased the power of the demon refining pot, causing the black dragon to struggle more violently. Seeing that the backer was brought out, it didn't work. The black dragon looked fierce, and as soon as he opened his mouth, he released the communication talisman, directly recorded the scene here, and started to communicate. The communication talisman left by Zhuxiantu has the function of recording the scene, which is a relatively precious one, and can communicate up to a distance of 1 million miles. Unfortunately, Zhuxiantu had already left Liubo Island at this moment, and he couldn't catch up at all. The only way for the black dragon to survive was to delay time. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 816, Yuanying Teleports.
Zhang Yuan comes in person. It's a communication talisman. This is asking for help from the demon ancestor temple. When he saw the communication talisman released by the Black Dragon, Master Yuan Fu frowned and reacted immediately. He ordered a bird with a belly to fly over and spit out a fiery red flame to ignite the communication talisman, burning it to ashes in an instant. Don't get entangled with it, and make a quick decision, Chen Qingyun said, retracting the bow and arrow and the God of Fire clone, switching to passive defense, and then looking at Qingguang. Fellow Taoist Qi, do it. Qingguang knew that his side had already gained the upper hand in this battle, and he planned not to waste time to torture the Black Dragon and vent his hatred. Okay. He nodded heavily, and directly used the 5 elements scroll and the demon refining pot at the same time to launch a more fierce attack on the Black Dragon. The extra wind power contained in the 5 elements scroll once again cooperated with the fire power to form the word wind, fire, thunder and lightning. This combined attack further released the power of thunder and lightning, which struck down fiercely, splitting the Black Dragon to the point of collapse. Master Yuan Fu and Chen Qingyun acted according to circumstances, clearing the surrounding monsters that came to rescue the Black Dragon from time to time. These monsters were killed instantly when they met, and more were affected by the fire of refining monsters and turned into charcoal on the spot. Qingguang opened fire at full power, and the 3 spiritual treasures cooperated with each other. There were also the assistance of locking heaven and earth and the reflection of the blue sky, which turned into a solid cage to seal the sky and lock the earth. The Black Dragon only supported for more than a dozen rounds, and finally fell to the ground with a bang, and the entire surface of its body had turned into charcoal. When a stream of Genjin sword energy tore through the Black Dragon's body and was about to cut open the Black Dragon's head, the Yuanying mark reserved in it was finally triggered. An octopus-shaped phantom emerged, bursting out a golden elixir peak attack, and completely dispersed the Genjin sword energy that came. Then the nascent soul shadow continued to move forward and hit Qingguang directly. What is that? Seeing that the situation was not right, Qingguang's eyes condensed and he quickly prepared to defend. At this time, Chen Qingyun sacrificed the Tangsu sword, and under the magnificent sword power, he slashed the octopus shadow with one sword. At the same time that the nascent soul mark was destroyed, far away from Liubo Island, in the sea area of Kuish Cave, Zhang Yuan's expression suddenly changed, and he noticed this abnormality. The nascent soul mark is destroyed. Who killed the Black Dragon? He took out the communication talisman, and when he saw the picture sent back, he saw that the Black Dragon was wrapped in a group of flames, and Zhang Yuan's expression changed. Not good. This eats cold flame flower. Because the communication talisman was destroyed by Master Yuan Fu as soon as it appeared. It only recorded a flashing picture of information. In this information, the figures of Chen Qingyun and others were not recorded, only a fleeting picture of flames. And the nascent soul mark left in Zhang Yuan's body, although their power can only reach the peak of the golden elixir, but due to the special power, it can achieve some visual sharing effects, and transmit some pictures, making Zhang Yuan feel as if he was there. When he traced back to what he saw and heard when the Yuanying mark was destroyed, he saw the appearance of Chen Qingyun and others, and he was surprised. Huh? Why is it him? It's that cultivator. Recognizing Chen Qingyun, Zhang Yuan's face showed murderous intent, and he became grinning. Killing my nephew. You escaped by luck and continued to live happily for decades. Now, you dare to go further, kill the Black Dragon, and attack my cold flame flower. You are really bold. If I don't kill you with my own hands, how can I sit firmly as the deputy cave master of this Kuish cave? Zhang Yuan looked fierce. In order not to waste a minute, he immediately launched the Yuanying teleportation technique and flew towards Liubo Island. Stinky boy, I will kill you. Look at Liubo Island again. Chen Qingyun controlled the Tangsu sword and killed another level 3 monster. He slowly spoke out the origin of the octopus phantom. It's the mark of the nascent soul. It's probably left in its body by a nascent soul demon king from the demon ancestor hall to keep it safe.
This black dragon has a great backer. It can be related to the nascent soul Demon King. After killing the nascent soul mark left by Zhang Yuan, Chen Qingyun stopped attacking the black dragon. He gave the last blow to kill the black dragon to Qingguang, and let the Qi family cultivators take revenge personally. It's about the nascent soul Demon King. We can't delay anymore at this moment. Fellow Taoist Qi should kill this dragon completely. Master Yuan Fu was a little worried. He was afraid of the nascent soul Demon King and didn't want to stay here for long. Qingguang reacted quickly and knew Chen Qingyun's intention. He immediately unfolded a huge Gengjin sword and beheaded the black dragon with one sword. This level 4 monster, destroy. After killing the black dragon, the others worked together to quickly clean up the remaining monsters, making sure that none of them were left behind. Facing the attacks of Chen Qingyun and the others, these monsters had no power to fight back at all. They panicked and turned into birds and beasts and scattered, and were cleaned up one by one. Master Yuan Fu stretched out his hand and locked the heaven and earth. The blue sky reflection talisman flew back to his hand, restraining the light and power. The effect of locking the sky and the earth around disappeared, and the reflection of the heaven and earth disappeared. Regarding the situation on this Lai Ubo Island, time is precious and there is no room for delay. Because the previous message from the Black Dragon also alarmed a certain Yuanying Demon King in the Demon Ancestor Hall, the others did not plan to stay on this Lai Ubo Island for long. After exchanging a few words, they quickly investigated. While cleaning up the battlefield together, they released their spiritual consciousness and conducted a carpet search around to take away the body of the Black Dragon. In the Black Dragon Cave, everyone roughly explored it. In this mission, the spoils of war do not need to be handed over to the Xingzong, and can be divided freely. Just bring back the proof of killing. I don't know whether the Black Dragon is frugal or likes to carry treasures with him. This cave is almost empty and there is nothing valuable. Seeing this scene, Chen Qingyun couldn't help but wonder. This Black Dragon must have something extraordinary to make the Yuanying Demon King of the Demon Ancestor Hall come out and leave a Yuanying mark in his body. And living in this Lai Ubo Island, is it just because he is valued in some aspects? Or is it derived from the bloodline of a Yuanying Demon King? Chen Qingyun released 3 Luan birds, paying attention to the surrounding dynamics, and prepared to explore this Lai Ubo Island. However, when he was about to take action, the Luan bird in the south immediately sent a piece of information. A few hundred meters away from Lai Ubo Island, a strong breath was rushing over the vast sea. Because the speed of this force was so fast, it made a sonic boom. Even though it was dozens of meters away from the sea surface, it still left a long water mark on the sea surface. It's here so soon. With a glance from the perspective of the phoenix, Chen Qingyun saw the appearance of the person coming. It was a man in a dark green robe, who still retained some characteristics of a monster, like an octopus transformed. Due to a quick glance, Chen Qingyun did not connect him with Zhang Yan, and immediately stopped the exploration and took back all the puppets, clones, and phoenixes. Chapter 817, Fleeing in separate directions and facing Zhang Yuan. At the same time, because the sonic boom was so loud, it also attracted the attention of Master Yuan Fu, Qingguang and others. Master Yuan Fu followed the sound, spread out his spiritual consciousness, and immediately his expression changed. No, it's the nascent soul demon emperor. Qingguang also looked surprised, realizing that the powerful aura exuded by Zhang Yuan was definitely not something he could match. He shouted and urged Chen Qingyun and others, run separately. When Song Renyi and the Man brothers and sisters heard the term Yuanying Demon Emperor, their faces turned pale with shock as they realized what it meant. Beat? Can you beat him? This is not like fighting a black dragon. Except for Chen Qingyun, everyone showed a strong look of fear and didn't even think about taking action. Several people each used their magic weapons and fled in different directions. They no longer thought about what treasures there were and did not stop for a moment. If you can't beat them, then you have to split up and run away, one by one if you can, so as not to be picked up by the same pot. Seeing that Qingguang and others reacted quickly and took the most correct action in time, setting up magical weapons or escaping in the air,
Chen Qingyun had no intention of dissuading them. Facing the nascent soul demon king, these people are not worth mentioning at all. Once there is a confrontation, the only way is to block the car. Only by escaping can there be a glimmer of hope. How many people can participate in this mission are favored by Xingzong. They can make a prompt decision without being sloppy at all. In order to save their lives, they all fled 10,000 meters away in the blink of an eye, running in different directions. Chen Qingyun moved a little slower, chose to fly in the air, and ran towards the east. Qingguang was concerned about his companions and glanced at Chen Qingyun worriedly, wanting to urge Chen Qingyun to hurry up. Qingguang's message also came out this time, ringing in the minds of Chen Qingyun and the Man brothers and sisters. Go back to the starting point. In order to prevent Zhang Yuan from hearing the transmission content, Qingguang did not even disclose the specific meeting place. Master Yuan Fu and the Man family brother and sister also turned around at almost the same time and looked at the direction in which Chen Qingyun escaped. When I saw that Chen Qingyun was slower and was the last to escape, I couldn't help but feel a little anxious. They were worried that the death of a strong man in the Golden Core stage would damage the vitality of the Xinghai immortal cultivation world and affect the subsequent fight against the Xinghai demon tide. After all, Zhang Yuan was the nascent soul demon emperor, with immense magical power. He launched 2 nascent soul teleportations in succession and rushed to Liubo Island in an instant. At this moment, it glimpsed from a distance that the 6 Chen Qingyun people scattered and fled in 6 different directions. With a swish of Zhang Yuan's voice, he reached the sky above Liubo Island. The aura around him had condensed into essence, and he was wearing a dark green robe and was moving in a hunting manner. That pair of eyes contained a chilling coldness, and they glanced at the direction in which Chen Qingyun and the other 6 people were escaping, looking straight at them. Fu Giant and Mzifu Juniors also tried to escape from me. They really thought that I was a vegetarian. Zhang Yuan's gloomy gaze finally fell on Chen Qingyun. I'll kill you first to avenge Yenner, and I'll eat the other bugs alive together. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Yuan's body suddenly burst out with powerful force, turned into a stream of light, and chased in the direction of Chen Qingyun. Feeling the cold gaze behind him and feeling the rapid approach of the breath wave, Chen Qingyun turned his head slightly and glanced slightly, with a smile on his lips. It was also the nascent soul stage. On Liubo Island, it was difficult to expose one's cultivation in front of Master Yuan Fu and several others. By chance, Zhang Yuan had to chase him first. Then there is nothing to avoid in this battle. It is just a good time to give full play to the strength of the nascent soul stage and see who is better. Since we are already on the run, we still need to make a good appearance. It is not too late to fly some distance before taking action. Chen Qingyun secretly mobilized Bang, preparing to join forces or directly launch a sneak attack, when he launched the 5 elements heavenly escape. As soon as this magical power was used, Chen Qingyun let out a hiss and turned into a rolling meteor with a sudden increase in speed. In Zhang Yuan's eyes, it turned into a small black dot and disappeared in the blink of an eye, almost disappearing from sight. Chen Qingyun's seemingly hurried escape made Zhang Yuan even more excited. Hey, if you're afraid of me, what's the point of running so fast? You can't escape from my grasp. 2 nascent soul level powerhouses. One hid his strength and pretended to be running away, while the other was chasing after him, getting more and more excited as he chased. About half the time it took to burn the incense, we were already 30,000 miles away from Liubo Island. The surrounding seas were rough and a storm was brewing. Chen Qingyun deliberately slowed down his flying speed, released Bang, fell into the sea, and lurked in advance. In order to ensure the chance of winning, Chen Qingyun also took out some 1,000-year spiritual milk to quickly restore his mana. When he turned around and looked behind him, he could already see Zhang Yuan's figure following him. Before it even got close, a long, narrow black fang tip shot through the air, making a sharp whistling sound, and it was approaching in the blink of an eye. Chen Qingyun dodged slightly and avoided the attack. The fang all missed the target and pierced straight into the sea. Zhang Yuan's speed increased sharply. He stopped in front of Chen Qingyun in a flash and took back the magic weapon. Insect,
Death is imminent, let's see where you run. Zhang Yuan smiled coldly, looking at Chen Qingyun playfully as if looking at prey. Chen Qingyun frowned slightly, deliberately showing a look of fear, and said, "Who are you from the Demon Ancestor Hall?" The Demon Ancestor Palace is a huge force, with only 6 caves under its jurisdiction, and the Kua Snake Cave is only the 3rd-ranked small cave force. Did the Black Dragon climb up to the Demon Ancestor Palace headquarters, or the cave forces under its jurisdiction? This made Chen Qingyun want to find out clearly, at least to know where the opponent came from. Compared with the Kua Snake Cave, this was different from being wanted by the Demon Ancestor Palace headquarters. Seeing the look on Chen Qingyun's face, Zhang Yuan grinned and said with a smile, "Why, do you want to delay time?" As he spoke, Zhang Yuan clasped his hands in front of his chest and said coldly, "You killed my nephew and the Black Dragon guardian of my Kua Snake Cave. Who do you think I am? What will I do to you?" While speaking, Zhang Yuan did not even look at Qingguang and others who fled in other directions. He had already regarded them all as prey and could not escape. This was to quickly capture Chen Qingyun alive, and the other prey could be caught up and eaten one by one, and none of them could escape. After hearing Zhang Yuan's response, the answer was self-evident. Chen Qingyun couldn't help but sigh secretly, thinking that he and Kuish Cave were really destined to be together. The Black Dragon killed this time was actually the guardian of Kuish Cave. The deputy cave master of Kuish Cave, who used to hide and try every means to avoid him, now met him here. Seeing that Chen Qingyun didn't say a word, thinking that he was scared and couldn't speak, Zhang Yuan squinted his eyes and licked his lips like teasing an ant. Hee, what's the use of giving you a little more time to escape, with your little ability? Don't even think about escaping from my palm. You better explain yourself. Who took the cold flame flower? Chapter 818. No threat. Fighting Yuan. Zhang Yuan's questioning made Chen Qingyun's expression change secretly, and he couldn't help but murmur. Cold flame flower, so that's it. Chen Qingyun knew the wonderful use of this cold flame flower and had heard of its great name a long time ago. This is a natural treasure that can help Yuan stage creatures break through the bottleneck, and it is quite rare. In the inner sea cultivation world, each cold flame flower is a priceless treasure, attracting many Yuan cultivators. No wonder the Black Dragon is here. It seems that this cold flame flower may be on the Liubo Island, hidden in a certain position, and it was not noticed when it was explored before. If not, the deputy cave master of Kuish Cave would not have mobilized so many troops and rushed here in a hurry. Seeing that Chen Qingyun did not answer, Zhang Yuan raised his eyebrows and said viciously, "Are you dumb? Don't you admit that you took it? HMPH, it doesn't matter if you don't answer. No matter which of you took it, I will make you spit it out with interest. I will capture you right now and take you back to the Kuish Cave. I will let you watch me eat you bite by bite, and make you wish you were dead or alive." As soon as Zhang Yuan finished speaking, he took out a spirit beast bag, opened the bag, and threw it at Chen Qingyun impatiently. "Do you want to roll in by yourself and suffer less, or do I do it myself and make you lose your arms and legs now?" The spirit beast bag floated and flew in front of Chen Qingyun. Zhang Yuan was very conceited. He regarded Chen Qingyun and others as ants because of his strong strength. Faced with Zhang Yuan's arrogance, Chen Qingyun responded directly with actions and sacrificed the Tianyan double swords. The sword flashed, and one of the 2 swords was extremely powerful, turning into a golden light. With a puff, it split the spirit beast bag with the sword, and it exploded into pieces. Good. Seeing Chen Qingyun resist, Zhang Yuan gritted his teeth and showed anger on his face. "You really don't want to drink the wine? Let's see if you are tough or not." Zhang Yuan's body suddenly changed, bursting out with a terrifying movement speed, and disappeared on the spot. It almost got rid of the range visible to the naked eye. In a move, it flashed in front of Chen Qingyun, raised its palm and grabbed Chen Qingyun's neck. I thought it was such a simple move, enough to catch Chen Qingyun, the ant. As a result, the next moment, a magical scene appeared. When the palm grabbed Chen Qingyun's neck,
The palm actually penetrated straight through and grabbed nothing. Chen Qingyun's body flickered slowly, presenting an illusory state, and turned into a rain of light that scattered in all directions, becoming extremely unreal. "What's going on?" This caused Zhang Yuan to exclaim in surprise, realizing that Chen Qingyun had already taken action, and he had been prepared, and couldn't help but yelling, "How dare you play tricks on me?" At the same time, Zhang Yuan felt a figure suddenly appear around him, and immediately turned his head to see that there was a Chen Qingyun standing in the air, activating the magic weapon in his hand. At the critical moment, Chen Qingyun used the shadow clone in the true explanation of the sun, and transformed into a fake clone to replace the original body, easily dissolving Zhang Yuan's attack. Tianyan's double sword slashed out, this time without reservation. The aura of the double swords was fully revealed, thundering, and exerting the power that a spiritual treasure should have. Zhang Yuan was defended by Chen Qingyun like this, and he felt that he was fooled, and his face became more angry. But when he realized that the might displayed by the Tianyan double swords had exceeded the scope of the 4th level magic weapon, his pupils suddenly shrank and he felt unbelievable. Ling Bao. A word emerged in his mind, but he didn't bother to think too much, and quickly sacrificed a shield magic weapon to block in front of him. Clang, clang. This is the middle grade spiritual treasure royal scale shield. After it appeared, it blocked the attack of the Tianyan double swords with its own solidity, and rubbed out a burst of sparks. In order to prevent himself from underestimating the enemy, Zhang Yuan also condensed a layer of body protecting qi outside his body, wrapping the fatal parts of his body. It was expected that Zhang Yuan had a good foundation and had several spiritual treasures. Chen Qingyun used the Tianyan double swords to keep a distance to avoid close combat with Zhang Yuan. Zhang Yuan has been condensing his nascent soul for a long time, at least 100 years, and his combat experience in this realm is far better than Chen Qingyun. Seizing this gap of time, Zhang Yuan came to his senses and knew that he could not hold back, let alone underestimate Chen Qingyun. Even though it was curious in its heart, Chen Qingyun might actually be a Yuanying cultivator, otherwise how could he control the spiritual treasure? So it was better to play it safe and use its best skills to test Chen Qingyun's depth. It opened its mouth wide and spit at Chen Qingyun. In an instant, a large amount of ink poison gushed out of its black mouth, a large area of black, covering a range of several hundred meters. This ink poison is as black, with a strong pungent smell. It is the toxin produced by the poison sac of the ink ring octopus itself. Its corrosive power is so strong that it can easily dissolve the body of a Yuanying cultivator, and ordinary low-level spiritual treasures can also be corroded. Zhang Yuan once relied on this ink poison to easily destroy several small spiritual islands and slaughter tens of thousands of mortals and cultivators. Those purple mansion stage and golden elixir stage cultivators, even if they relied on many magic tools and formations, had no resistance to the ink poison. They were quickly poisoned and eroded, turning into a pool of blood. Fortunately, he had distanced himself in advance. Seeing the ink poison coming, Chen Qingyun remained calm and used the molten fire shield to resist it. 2 meter-sized flame shields condensed and formed, showing red, and combined into a circle, protecting Chen Qingyun firmly. This molten fire shield light also came from the magical power of Da Rizeng. When dealing with attacks such as toxins, its own fire attribute has a restraining advantage. If it weren't for the late Yuanying cultivators taking a strong attack, it would not be possible to break these molten fire shield lights for a while. These ink poisons seemed to have vitality, spreading out, and after being stained by the molten fire shield light, they made a hissing sound. Most of them turned into black smoke and dissipated, burning and dissolving, emitting a pungent smell. The remaining ink poisons were emptied and fell into the sea together under the burning of the flames, corroding the seawater into black, and the area within 1,000 meters suddenly became a dead place. Some small monsters came into contact with this black seawater and were immediately poisoned and died, turning into blood floating on the sea. The battle between Yuanying cultivators may seem simple, but in fact,
A little residual power is enough to wipe out the creatures of giant stage. There is no need for any magnificent momentum or earth-shaking movement. Often a powerful blow is contained in a seemingly simple and plain move. Seeing that this is not working, how could Zhang Yuan not understand the current situation? It confirmed Chen Qingyun's strength, frowned and said in a deep voice, "Are you a human or a monster? Back then, you were just a small giant and cultivator, being chased by my Kuish caveman fleeing everywhere, like a rat crossing the street. Now, only 20 or 30 years have passed, and you can actually break through to the Yuanying stage. I have practiced for more than 800 years to achieve my current achievements. What do you rely on?" Chapter 819, The Light of All Things, the Infinite Immortal Sword. Compared to Chen Qingyun's advancement speed, Zhang Yuan now has some self-doubts. Could this Chen Qingyun be a demon, a descendant of a powerful race? Otherwise, how could he practice so fast? After dissolving the ink poison, Chen Qingyun said nothing. Facing Zhang Yuan's question, how could he reveal his secret? "Are you dumb again? Come on, what secrets do you have? How could you break through the nascent soul stage so quickly?" Zhang Yuan showed a look of anxiety. He guessed that Chen Qingyun would not answer, so he tried to distract Chen Qingyun's attention while he was talking. He suddenly threw his hand, and 3 black rays shot out from his palm, hitting Chen Qingyun's head, heart and dantian. These 3 black rays were as fast as lightning. In Chen Qingyun's eyes, he could still see at a glance that they were 3 flying needles as thick as fingers. These flying needles were sharp and slender, and they were still stained with the previous ink poison, and were dyed so black. At the critical moment, Chen Qingyun used his shadow clone again. The original position was transformed into a virtual clone, and the main body dodged away, and together they transformed into 3 figures. Swish, swish, swish. The 3 flying needles hit the air, piercing a shadow clone, and then were urged by Zhang Yuan in the air, turning around and hitting a nearby Chen Qingyun, and missed again. This was also a shadow clone, leaving only the last 2, one of which must be Chen Qingyun. However, Zhang Yuan had changed his strategy at this time, and did not continue to control the flying needles to change the angle. Instead, he threw his hand again, and actually shot out 3 flying needles again, hitting a Chen Qingyun not far in front. Seeing that Zhang Yuan also knew some strategies, not only knew how to control a magic weapon to kill everywhere, but also reserved a hand and launched a sneak attack, Chen Qingyun did not dare to be careless. This was a precaution. Seeing the flying needles bursting at him, Chen Qingyun sacrificed the Cauldron of All Things. A beam of precious light was released from the mouth of the cauldron, which directly hit the 3 flying needles. This precious light had the effect of blocking the cultivator's spiritual thoughts. The 3 flying needles were hit and lost control in an instant. Disconnecting from Zhang Yuan. Chen Qingyun controlled the Cauldron of All Things to suck the 3 flying needles into the cauldron at once and collected them as trophies. My 6 soul needles. This sneak attack failed, and the magic treasure was taken away. Zhang Yuan screamed and urged the remaining 3 6-soul needles to fly back to avoid repeating the same mistake. This 6-soul needle is Zhang Yuan's magic weapon, which has reached the 5th grade upper grade. In addition to having extremely strong penetrating power, it can also directly hit the opponent's soul, making the opponent defenseless. With the help of this magic treasure, Zhang Yuan has repeatedly succeeded in sneak attacks and killed many human cultivators and powerful monsters. Unfortunately, this time, when facing Chen Qingyun, this set of spiritual treasures had to be explained here. It had never thought that Chen Qingyun had this method of collecting spiritual treasures, and it suffered a loss all of a sudden, and felt a pain in its flesh. The first time it used the Cauldron of All Things to fight, it tasted the sweetness, and the effect really reached its expectations. Even the spiritual treasures could be collected. Chen Qingyun urged the Cauldron of All Things to fight again, and another treasure light was released, which spread to half a foot in size. With the advantage of the speed of light, it caught up with the 3 flying needles in one fell swoop. The effect this time was the same as before, and this top-grade spiritual treasure was completely subdued and collected in the Cauldron of All Things. The spiritual treasure was only used twice, and the sneak attack failed. but was taken away. Zhang Yuan's eyes were bloodshot and he couldn't help but roared. "You, monster, return my spiritual treasure." After all, he was a Yuanying demon king. At this moment, he was angry and said such unrealistic nonsense. Chen Qingyun shook his head secretly and urged the Tianyan double swords to continue to cut towards Zhang Yuan. The Tianyan double swords have the power of thunder to exorcise demons. This time, thunder surged on the swords, bursting out bursts of lightning, forcing Zhang Yuan to continue to deal with it with the imperial scale shield. Two clangs, the same scene appeared. The Tianyan double swords were blocked, and the sword power spread to the sea, stirring up a huge wave, stirring up this sea area. The imperial scale shield trembled again, and it seemed to be about to explode, so Zhang Yuan could only release it temporarily and protect it in front of him. After a few moves, Zhang Yuan was a little hesitant about whether to continue fighting with Chen Qingyun. Chen Qingyun did not give him time to think, and urged the Tianyan double swords again, slashing at Zhang Yuan from two directions. Because Zhang Yuan was distracted just now, he avoided the attack of one of the immortal swords in time. But the next moment, he was hit by another sword, and the protective aura outside his body was cut open, disintegrating with cracks. At this time, part of the thunder power on the Tianyan double swords rushed into Zhang Yuan's body, causing Zhang Yuan's body to tremble. The demon pill in his body was hit hard, and 30% of his blood and chi were consumed. Even if this blocked the Tianyan double swords, he didn't expect that the swords also contained thunder, which immediately made Zhang Yuan's face change, and he couldn't help but let out a low roar. Weird, this kid is really weird. I don't know what kind of treasure that big tripod is. It can take away my 6 soul needles so easily. It's really hateful. When I came here, I was in a hurry to get on the road, and I consumed 30% to 40% of my mana. I thought it was enough to kill these human cultivators, but I still underestimated the enemy. Now, my mana is limited. It's not the time to fight. It's inevitable that the other party will use some conspiracy to harm me. It's better to run away. The Yuanying Demon King is very cherishing his life and has a sense of crisis. After realizing that this battle may not have any chance of winning, and in terms of spiritual intelligence, he can't compare with the human cultivators, I'm afraid that I will lose 1 or 2 more spiritual treasures if I continue to fight. Zhang Yuan no longer hesitated, turned around and was about to fly away from here to end this battle. Relying on the remaining 50% to 60% of his mana, he wanted to perform Yuanying teleportation again, and come to Chen Qingyun for revenge in the future. However, Chen Qingyun obviously would not give it this opportunity to escape, exposing his cultivation to the eyes of the demon ancestor hall, and attracting a bigger hunting order. Chen Qingyun's eyes flashed coldly, and he sacrificed the Zhuxian diagram, and injected his mana into it like a tide, and the next moment he unfolded the diagram. Zhuxian diagram was facing Zhang Yuan, and seized such a time gap at the moment when the opponent was about to perform Yuanying teleportation. A large number of Wuliang's swords surged out like a tidal wave, making a rumbling sound, turning into a torrent of steel sweeping forward, and the power had surpassed the Wanjian diagram by 100 times. Each of these Wuliang's swords was extremely powerful, emitting brilliant golden light, and possessed the momentum of destroying the world. What's more, there are so many of them, so dense and mighty that the world is turned upside down. What kind of spiritual treasure is this? Before Zhang Yuan could start his nascent soul teleportation, he saw that the situation was not good, and screamed. He was shocked and immediately activated the Imperial Scale Armor again, hoping to use it to resist 1 or 2. The Imperial Scale Armor is limited by its material after all, and it can't stop the attack of the Immortal Execution Picture. As soon as this treasure armor came into contact, it was blown up by the Wuliang Immortal Sword, and it exploded like a glass, breaking into hundreds of pieces. This caused Zhang Yuan to scream in fear again. My Treasure Armor, Chapter 820, Killing Zhang Yuan, Treasure Hunting in the Cave. Under the attack of the Zhuxiantu, the Imperial Scale Armor was damaged. Then, the protective chi on Zhang Yuan's body was blasted by more than a dozen Wuliangxian swords,
which was not as useful as the Imperial scale armor. It was shattered into slag in an instant. Now he only relied on his physical body, and the double defense that Zhang Yuan relied on was gone. In a moment, he turned into his original form with a terrified scream. Faced with the terrible power of the Zhuxiantu, the deputy cave master of Kuish Cave wanted to increase his size in exchange for a chance of survival. As a nascent soul-level black ring octopus, Zhang Yuan turned into his original form, and his body size reached more than 1,100 feet. This size is enough to easily pull down a large spirit ship with the advantage of body size. Compared with the human form, being submerged by the Wanjiantu sword naturally has no chance of survival. Zhang Yuan thought he was smart and had some chance of survival, but he still underestimated Chen Qingyun. How could the attack range of the Zhuxiantu be fixed? Chen Qingyun continued to inject his magic power into the Zhuxian map, increasing the offensive. The entire Zhuxian map radiated brilliant light and continued to emit bursts of rushing sounds. More Wanjiantu swords rushed out of the scroll, making the world full of the roar of swords and the wind and clouds. It was visible to the naked eye that the huge black ring octopus was blown up by the Wanjiantu sword, spilling a large amount of blood. The dozen or so thick tentacles were torn apart in an instant, turned into debris and scattered in the sea, and Zhang Yuan's screams were drowned in the roar of the sword. It was said that it was late, and it was fast. A demon pill wrapped in a storage bag turned into a stream of light and quickly went away. At the moment of contact with the Wanjiantu sword, Zhang Yuan decisively abandoned his physical body and used it as the last shield to resist and buy time to escape. Seeing Zhang Yuan's demon pill appear, Chen Qingyun remained calm and did not chase him personally. The backhand that had been prepared long ago played a role at this moment. Bawang, who had been hiding in the sea, saw the opportunity and decisively chose to attack. Bawang was stronger and could fight against the late Yuanying cultivators. Dealing with Zhang Yuan, whose mana was greatly reduced, was still in the form of a demon pill. It was as easy as catching a bug. He rushed out of the sea in the blink of an eye. "Who are you?" Seeing Bawang emerge from the sea, his aura was even stronger than Chen Qingyun. Zhang Yuan screamed like he saw a ghost and was already scared. 2 Yuanyings. In Zhang Yuan's shock, Bawang stopped in front of Zhang Yuan and shot out a purple and green divine flame, wrapping Zhang Yuan's demon pill layer by layer. Wrapped in the spiritual fire of heaven and earth, Zhang Yuan's consciousness was refined and erased, and he screamed hysterically. The storage bag he carried was so important to Zhang Yuan that he must take it with him when he ran away. There must be good things in it. Bawang took the storage bag into his hand and became a trophy. The deputy cave master of Kuish Cave would never have thought that he would hit a wall this time. Before he could defeat Chen Qingyun, another more powerful clone of Chen Qingyun, who had been lurking for a long time, jumped out. The Wuliang immortal sword began to dissipate, restraining its power, and the world returned to peace. Chen Qingyun put away the Zhuxiantu, flew to the side of Bawang, and looked at the breath of Zhang Yuan in the demon pill, confirming that it had been completely wiped out and completely destroyed. This Yuanying Demon King did not even have the last chance to self-destruct and was wiped out. Yuanying Demon Pill. After looking at the demon pill for a few times, Chen Qingyun released Mo Ling and swallowed Zhang Yuan's demon pill into his stomach, ending the deputy cave master of Kuish Cave. The demon pill of this Yuanying Demon King is a great tonic for spirit beasts and can promote the improvement of strength. Since this Dong swallowing demon art belongs to the Jianden art, it can only be practiced to the peak of the Jianden period at most. The Yuanying demon pill that was obtained could not be refined by this technique, so it was given to Mo Ling. In the first battle of the Yuanying, the 5 elements Yuanying had a strong advantage in mana, and with the help of the powerful spiritual treasure, they quickly won. Chen Qingyun collected the spiritual treasure in Bawang, and quickly cleaned up the battle scene. Yuanying cultivators have the ability to go back in time, and can find the battle scene, trace some battle scenes,
and find out the two sides of the battle. Chen Qingyun did not want the Kuish cave or even the demon ancestor hall to find out something and chase the Chen family. Baoang cast a water magic to turn the place upside down and wash away the traces of the battle in the sea. Chen Qingyun directly called out Biling to roll up a large sky wind to further remove the traces of the battle. A large sky wind unfolded here, which will last for more than an hour, sweeping away the world and making it brand new. As long as the time exceeds 3 days, even if the Yuanying Demon King of the Demon Ancestor Hall comes in person, he will not be able to find any traces here. The maximum time for the time reversal effect is 3 days, and it will be invalid if it exceeds this period. After erasing the traces of the battle, Chen Qingyun returned to Liubo Island and began to carefully explore the entire island inside and out. According to Zhang Yuan's meaning, there may be cold flame flowers here, and it is impossible to store them on the Black Dragon, so where will they be? Cave. Chen Qingyun thought of a place. Usually, monsters will open caves around the spiritual essence of heaven and earth, and guard one side day and night. After going deep into the Black Dragon's cave, Chen Qingyun made a discovery after a while. He noticed that there was something abnormal at the end of the cave. Not only did the temperature become extremely cold, but when the divine sense explored here, it would automatically disappear. This is the same as the first time I explored the Tangai Cave Mansion. Something blocked my consciousness. After a closer look, the ethereal formation also appeared. There is a forbidden god restriction and a formation to cover it. These two methods can be set up here at the same time. Could it be that the cold flame flower grows here? After exploring this step, Chen Qingyun's eyes lit up slightly, and he violently dismantled the ethereal formation and the forbidden god restriction, and the hidden scene appeared. With the light of the fire, a winter scene of ice and snow appeared at the end of the cave. In the cracks between a pile of rocks, 3 blue flames appeared, emitting bursts of cold air, freezing cold. No, if you look closely, the flame is not burning slowly. It is a flower similar to flame, which is the size of a palm. The cold air here is extremely strong, making people feel like they are in an ice field. There is a thick layer of frost on the rocks and the walls of the cave, which shows how low the temperature is. Chen Qingyun was not afraid of the cold. His eyes fell on the 3 plants. His eyes suddenly lit up and he showed joy on his face. Growing in an extremely cold place, it looks like a blue flame. It is indeed a cold flame flower. Chen Qingyun had seen records about cold flame flowers and could tell their quality. Judging from the quality of the 3 cold flame flowers, it would only take 5 or 6 years to mature. This made Chen Qingyun secretly excited. Chapter 821 Concealing the Truth and Receiving Rewards. According to Chen Qingyun's current strength, if he practices hard for 5 or 6 years and then refines these 3 cold flame flowers, he can have an 80% to 90% chance of breaking through the bottleneck and reaching the middle stage of the nascent soul. Such a good thing must not be left here, for fear that there will be demon cultivators from the demon ancestor hall coming to kill him. On the Xingzong side, the intelligence did not mention the cold flame flower, and it was obviously not discovered. Then whoever discovered it, it would belong to him. Treasures have always been owned by those who are capable. After learning the way of spiritual plants from Liu Zilin for a period of time, Chen Qingyun carefully transplanted the 3 cold flame flowers, along with rocks and soil, into the blessed land bead and planted them next to the water spirit vein. In order to ensure the growth of the cold flame flowers and provide a suitable environment. Chen Qingyun also left a few wisps of purple and green divine flames, releasing extremely cold flames and creating an extremely cold environment. After harvesting these spiritual plants, Chen Qingyun carefully explored the cave again. After making sure there were no omissions, he destroyed the cave and all the clues, and then he set off from the island and flew to the direction of the Star Sea. In order to avoid being followed by the demon cultivators of the demon ancestor hall, or returning to the star sect too quickly and arousing suspicion, Chen Qingyun drove the wind and thunder boat around the sea and deliberately took a detour of more than 100,000 miles. After Zhang Yuan died, Zhang Yuan's soul lamp went out in the Kuish cave, which soon caused a commotion in the Kuish cave. The Kuish cave master, the only remaining deputy cave master,
received the news and did not go out to investigate, but reported the matter to the Demon Ancestor Hall and prepared to select a new deputy cave master. If the demon cultivators are not related by blood, they generally will not unite, and can only suppress and rule with absolute strength. The Demon Ancestor Hall received the news and sent the Kuish cave master to investigate on the same day. Unfortunately, in order to hide his tracks, Zhang Yuan swallowed the cold flame flower alone and did not reveal his recent itinerary at all, which made the investigation much more difficult. Finally, after spending 5 or 6 days, the Lord of Kuish Cave used some means to come to the vicinity of Liubo Island. However, it was already 10 days later, and Chen Qingyun had already wiped out the traces of the battle here. The Lord of Kuish Cave could only wander around, unable to lock the exact location of the battle, and finally could only return in disappointment and report the results. The investigation failed to yield any results, so the Demon Ancestor Hall no longer paid attention and focused its energy on fighting against hostile forces such as the Black Dragon Palace and Tongshan Demon Sea. Half a month later, Xingzong, Danxing Hall. Master Yuanfu arrived first and reported the details of the Liubo Island battle to Xingzong. Knowing that the Yuanying Demon King had been attracted and confronted the Demon Ancestor Hall, Lu Shengyan and other high-level Xingzong officials were alarmed. After asking carefully, they all seemed anxious and worried about the safety of Chen Qingyun and others. If Chen Qingyun and others died outside, it would not only damage the reputation of Xingzong, but also cause the Xinghai cultivators to lose several capable talents. In the future, there will be more pressure to fight against the Xinghai monster tide. Fortunately, Chen Qingyun returned safely that day. Then, the Man brothers and sisters, Song Renyu, and Qingguang also returned to the Danxing Palace, which made Xingzong feel relieved. Regarding Zhang Yuan's personal visit, Lu Shengyan and several Xingzong elders asked Chen Qingyun and others in turn, wanting to learn more details. Chen Qingyun naturally did not tell them that he had killed Zhang Yuan, but only responded that he was lucky and escaped the pursuit. As for who the Yuanying Demon King who was chasing them was, Chen Qingyun did not elaborate. In short, this mission was completed without any danger. The answers from Yuanfu, Shangren and others were similar, and no specific situation could be asked. In this regard, Xingzong did not ask any more questions, guessing that they all had some secrets, and it was not surprising that they had some extraordinary escape skills. When Qingguang took out the head of the Black Dragon and passed the verification, the mission was completed. Chen Qingyun and others received the mission rewards as agreed. 500,000 good deeds were obtained, plus some monster resources, 3 cold flame flowers, and most importantly, Zhang Yuan's storage bag was also obtained. Chen Qingyun was very much looking forward to what treasures the deputy cave master of Kuish Cave had in his hands. In addition, there was also a storage bag on the side of the Black Dragon, which was kept by Qingguang. This storage bag had not been opened yet. Qingguang gathered several teammates of Chen Qingyun together, wiped out the remaining divine thoughts of the Black Dragon on it, and began to divide the spoils. After the Black Dragon transformed into a human, it would also learn from human cultivators and equip itself with magic tools and storage bags. Therefore, there were many clothes and daily necessities in its storage bag. As for the resources for cultivating immortals, there were only more than 800,000 spirit stones, 3 magic tools, 2 bottles of elixirs for restoring blood and mana, and 4 second and third level spiritual talismans each. Seeing the wealth of the Black Dragon, Man Jingshu couldn't help shaking her head. The elder brother Man Ganyang was stunned for a moment, then muttered, "This Black Dragon is a bit poor." Indeed, if converted into a human giant and cultivator, this amount of wealth is obviously not very good, not as good as a veteran Zaifu cultivator. From the perspective of a demon cultivator, the wealth is usually not as good as that of a human cultivator of the same level, and only has some advantages in spiritual medicines, minerals and other natural treasures. There are not many resources, and the 6 people divide them according to their strength. Giant and cultivators have more resources than Zaifu cultivators. Chen Qingyun mainly took 2 4th-level magic tools and 50,000 spirit stones. He was not interested in the rest, and Qingguang and others divided them. Everyone was satisfied, but they still felt scared when they thought of Zhang Yuan's pursuit. In the next few years, they should set foot in the Wanjiantu. Chen Qingyun did not worry about this, but was particularly looking forward to Zhang Yuan's wealth. After collecting the spoils, Qingguang bowed to Chen Qingyun and Master Yuan Fu, showing gratitude. This time, I was able to kill the Black Dragon, avenge my nephew, and give my Qi family an explanation, thanks to the great assistance of the two Taoist friends. I, Qingguang, would like to thank you for your hard work. Master, Yuan Fu smiled faintly and said, this Black Dragon betrayed Xinghai and did such an immoral act. It is already our enemy, and naturally we will not show mercy. Chen Qingyun just nodded in response and did not say much. In terms of the progress of task completion, they are not the first batch, and 3 teams have already completed the task. The remaining tasks are still in progress and will take some time. For the sake of making friends, Qingguang took out the communication talisman and gave it to Chen Qingyun and Master Yuan Fu, saying that they can keep in touch in the future and come to the Qi family as guests. The two are the honored guests of the Qi family. Considering the family's connections and diplomatic relations, Chen Qingyun also exchanged communication talismans with Master Yuan Fu. Chen Qingyun is still on a mission and will not be back for the time being. Chen Qingyun left the Danxing Palace and returned to Zhenhai Island. In the Blessed Land bead, Mo Ling had already begun to digest the power in it because he had swallowed Zhang Yuan's demon pill. Chen Qingyun stayed beside Mo Ling, took out Zhang Yuan's storage bag, and counted the harvest inside. Chapter 822, Surprise, Continuous Strengthening. Compared to the Black Dragon, Zhang Yuan's wealth can be said to be very rich. He is worthy of being the Yuanying Demon King and the Deputy Cave Master of Kuish Cave. First of all, there are spirit stones, with a total value of more than 37 million, including 26 top-grade spirit stones and more than 1,300 high-grade spirit stones. Secondly, there are elixirs and talismans, which are not many in number, 62 talismans and 11 bottles of elixirs. Then there are all kinds of rare treasures, including many second-level and third-level mermaid beads, seabed ores, rare spiritual materials, including some high-level spiritual medicines. Chen Qingyun took a closer look and recognized the green yuan fruit, the void crystal stone, a large piece of earth-suppressing stone, and various spiritual ores. In terms of books, there are also many exercises, ranging from the foundation building stage to the golden elixir stage, with a total of more than 300 volumes. There are also dozens of books on the 100 arts of cultivation, as well as many ancient books, strange stories and records, and the collection is quite rich. These books can help Chen Qingyun gain more experience and knowledge, and can also allow each family to copy a copy to increase the family's heritage. Finally, this is the part that surprised Chen Qingyun the most. Magical instruments. Although the number of magic instruments carried by Zhang Yuan is not large, they are of good quality and high grade, at least starting from the third-grade magic instruments. Chen Qingyun counted and found that there were 66 third-grade magic instruments, 35 fourth-grade magic instruments, and 6 fifth-grade magic instruments. This was the first time he killed a Yuanying stage opponent. Chen Qingyun didn't know whether these spoils were a lot or a little. But from the perspective of magic instruments, this is definitely not normal. Chen Qingyun thought he had an advantage in magic instruments, far surpassing the cultivators of the same level. But now, compared with Zhang Yuan, there is a sense of being on par, not to mention the third-grade and fourth-grade magic instruments. Just talking about the fifth-grade spiritual treasures, Zhang Yuan actually has 6, which is worth more than 30 million spirit stones. This Zhang Yuan has so many magic weapons, could he be a high-level weapon refiner? This thought was rejected by Chen Qingyun as soon as it emerged. Only after the monster beast cultivates to the nascent soul stage can it transform into a human and open its spiritual wisdom. Only from this foundation can it have the ability to learn the 100 arts of cultivation. But even so, the monster beast is not necessarily much better than the human cultivator in terms of comprehension. Generally speaking,
Only the monster beast in the spiritualization stage can achieve some good achievements after a long period of study and can refine the 4th level magic weapon independently. After checking the array patterns on the magic weapon and observing it carefully, Chen Qingyun can be sure that these magic weapons have the magic power left by the human weapon refiner. Based on this, it can be said that they come from the human race. Either Zhang Yuan refined it himself, or it was traded or robbed. Chen Qingyun guessed the answer. In fact, most of the magic weapons here were obtained by Zhang Yuan in his long-term transactions with Xuanshui Palace. Among them, there are 63rd level magic tools and 34th level magic tools that were exchanged with Xuanshui Palace when the 4 guardians Batu, Zilin and Gusei were sent to Qingguang Islands. The 5th level magic tools were all exchanged from the Demon Ancestor Hall. Chen Qingyun has experienced the power of the 6 soul needles and the Imperial Scale Armor. Among them, the Imperial Scale Armor is damaged and only about 30% of its power remains. The 6 soul needles are of the highest grade, reaching the level of upper grade spiritual treasures, and the other 4 are lower grade spiritual treasures. Just this harvest of magic tools made Chen Qingyun smile. I have harvested so many magic tools, and this battle is not a loss. The rest of the items are mostly some of Zhang Yuan's personal hobbies, and there is also a double-headed Kua Snake Cave, which represents Zhang Yuan's status in Kua Snake Cave. This double-headed Kua Snake Order represents the status of the Deputy Cave Master. The 3-headed Kua Snake Order represents the Cave Master. This battle yielded a good harvest, but I don't know if killing the Deputy Cave Master of Kuish Cave will completely attract the pursuit of Kuish Cave, or even the participation of the Demon Ancestor Hall. Chen Qingyun had some concerns. He was not afraid, but was worried about implicating his family. Now that things have come to this, it is useless to think too much. It is important to improve my strength as soon as possible. Only with stronger strength can I protect my Chen family. Looking at so many magic weapons, Chen Qingyun selected them and kept 3 4th level top grade ones. The rest were all decomposed. It is better not to use these magic weapons as much as possible, so as not to be recognized by others and cause trouble. Compared with Kuish Cave, the Demon Ancestor Hall is more feared. There are a total of 104 magic weapons, the lowest of which are 3rd level top grade. This wave of decomposition has increased the reinforcement points. Under Chen Qingyun's gaze, the reinforcement points exceeded 2.22 million, plus the hundreds of reinforcement points reserved. It reached 2,262,458 points at once. With so many enhancement points in hand, there is no need to say how to use them. Chen Qingyun took the lead in strengthening Bawang. After deducting 1,161,216 enhancement points, Bawang's aura increased greatly and upgraded to the late stage of the nascent soul. The remaining 1.1 million enhancement points were temporarily insufficient to continue to strengthen Bawang. Chen Qingyun thought about it and set his sights on Jiuyu. After deducting 580,608 enhancement points, Jiuyu's strength was also improved, and his aura rose, advancing to the middle stage of the nascent soul. So far, the nascent soul clones include Bawang in the late stage of the nascent soul, Jiuyu in the middle stage, and Poseidon and Hanming in the early stage. The Thunder clone is still at the peak of the Golden Core stage. The other 8 clones, including Flying, Wind Spirit, Bow and Arrow, are at the peak of the Purple Mansion. Should I strengthen the rest of the puppets together? Chen Qingyun just thought about it and decided to strengthen the Immortal Palace to the level of spiritual treasure first. The upgrade of this magic weapon cannot be left behind. After 2 consecutive enhancements, the Immortal Palace was upgraded to the level of lower grade spiritual treasure. Chen Qingyun paid attention to the power effect and found that the maximum extension area of the Immortal Palace had soared to 20,000 square meters. In terms of puppet control, it is already possible to collect and control Yuanying stage puppets, up to 5. The maximum puppet control range has increased from the original 1,000 miles to 10,000 miles, and the puppets can be controlled to kill the enemy 10,000 miles away. After all, it is a spiritual treasure, and its power is no longer comparable to the life magic weapon. Chen Qingyun thinks that the remaining 226,298 enhancement points should be used to the maximum extent. I won't strengthen the Thunder clone for now. I'll leave this giant stage clone as my foundation, so I can also restrain my strength when needed. After entering the Immortal Palace, Chen Qingyun integrated all the 5 elements puppets together and arranged them into 5 rows, totaling 50, all of which were at the peak of the foundation establishment realm. In addition, there were Wind Spirit, Flying Boat, Bow and Arrow, Fire God, Sword Immortal, Chain Blade, Bow and Arrow, and Heavenly Sword Clone, all of which were at the peak of the Purple Mansion realm. Chen Qingyun first strengthened these 8 clones to the giant stage. The remaining more than 36,000 strengthening points were not enough to continue strengthening them all, so he decided to strengthen the puppets instead. After 2 consecutive strengthenings, all the 50 puppets were upgraded to the early stage of the Purple Mansion. There are still more than 11,000 strengthening points. I will use 3 4th level magic tools as raw materials to fuse a spiritual treasure, and keep the remaining strengthening points for now. The 3 4th level superb magic tools left as fusion materials were all from Zhuxiantu, with 2 sets of soft armor and a small green shield. Fusion. Chen Qingyun started the fusion. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 823 Qingguang Armor, King Luan and number 039:S Amazing progress. 300 strengthening points were deducted again. Under Chen Qingyun's eyes. The 3 magic weapons emitted a halo and began to merge with each other, quickly merging into one magic weapon. When the light dissipated, a brand new spiritual treasure was revealed, which was a set of armor. Qingguang Armor, a low-grade spiritual treasure, has flexibility and toughness, can be worn by monks, and has excellent defensive capabilities. Qingguang Armor is the size of an ordinary armor, with 2 colors of green and gold as a whole. The shape looks particularly thick and full of metallic texture. When you hold this set of armor in your hand, you can feel its obvious weight, and it is not just soft armor. When Chen Qingyun put it on, the Qingguang armor automatically matched the size of his body, suppressed the light, and was hidden in the robe, so no changes could be seen. Except for the head and palms, which were not protected, the rest of the body was firmly protected. After putting it on, there is no obvious sense of weight. Instead, it feels lighter. It is as if I am wearing an extra piece of clothing. It is as light as nothing. Now that the armor-type spirit treasure was with him, Chen Qingyun felt much more at ease. In terms of other spiritual treasures, there are also the Immortal Killing Diagram, the Cauldron of All Things, the Twin Swords of Tianyan, and the Blessings of the Immortal Palace, which have significantly improved Chen Qingyun's strength again. After totaling the number of spiritual treasures on his body, Chen Qingyun thought of the Yanhuang Bell. It was time to raise the temperature of this magic weapon and cultivate it to the level of spiritual treasures. He would take this time to start. The remaining strengthening points will be reserved for now. For now, the improvement of cultivation level is still gradual and cannot be rushed. In terms of weapon refining, it has been in a bottleneck period recently. It is the 4th level mid-level. You can also try to hit the 5th level. After destroying and cleaning up Zhang Yuan's belongings that should be destroyed, Chen Qingyun began to carefully calculate the follow-up training plan. This has offended the Demon Ancestor Palace, so naturally it is impossible to sit back and wait for death. According to the maturity rate of the cold flame flower, it will take at least 5 years, and at most 6 years. As for the 5 elements sex ruins, more than 20 years have passed since the appointed time, and it is almost here. Chen Qingyun always remembered this agreement. Counting the time now, exactly 25 years have passed since the last time I said goodbye to Wuhuzi.
Wen Xiuman and others in Ziwu Island City. There are still 5 years left before the second exploration of the Five Elements sect ruins begins. In terms of time, it is still plenty of time. Now, Chen Qingyun was secretly thinking about whether to continue to join forces with Li Mubing and others, or to explore alone. I have now broken through to the nascent soul stage. Logically speaking, with the help of clones such as Baoang and Jiuyu, I can explore the ruins of the Five Elements sect alone and enjoy the chance treasures there alone. But, the problem is that the outer formation in the ruins of the Five Elements sect is too special, and it cannot be violently dismantled even with the strength of the nascent soul stage. If you want to enter the outer formation, you still need to use the black water fire technique to crack it, otherwise, how can we get our hands on this opportunity for the sect's relics? Chen Qingyun understands his own strength and the special nature of the Five Elements sect's relics. Such a sect ruin has not yet been fully explored. Not only is it full of dangers, but the nascent soul ghost cultivators are also terrifying. The biggest difficulty is actually that the outer formation firmly cuts off the footsteps of many monks. If he didn't have top-notch fire-breaking magic powers like black water fire technique, he wouldn't be able to enter the outer formation at all. Actually, I didn't expect that I would have a baby so quickly. I've had good opportunities over the years. Chen Qingyun smiled to himself. That's all. Since we have signed an agreement a long time ago to launch a second exploration, let's cooperate with Li Mubing, Luo Huzi and others. However, when the time comes to divide the interests, I will naturally no longer be able to follow the original agreement. Thinking of this follow-up agreement will need to be re-signed with Luo Huzi and others. Perhaps in order to increase their chances of winning, Luo Huzi and others may invite foreign aid. This must be explained in detail in the interests divided. Chen Qingyun knew what was going on, and went to check on the growth of the Hunyuan flower to make sure nothing was wrong. The cold flame flower matures in at least 5 years. It will take half a year or about a year to hit the bottleneck in seclusion. It's not too late to pick the cold flame flower after exploring the ruins of the Five Elements sect. Using these 5 years, I would like to focus on improving my weapon refining skills and strengthen some magic weapons. Thinking about it, I got a lot of weapon refining materials this time, and I also have a lot of topaz and sea heart crystals in my hands. In the next month, Chen Qingyun began to immerse himself in weapon refining. On this day, Chen Qingyun successfully completed the mission and returned to Zhenhai Island. After learning from Chen Qingyun that Chen Qingyun was in seclusion, she chose to wait for Chen Qingyun to come out of seclusion. After continuing to refine weapons and exploring for a month, Chen Qingyun successfully advanced to the 4th level of high-grade weapon refinement. In order to continue to advance, he began to refine a large number of 4th-level magic weapons. A year passed in the blink of an eye. In the refining room, there were so many finished products, semi-finished instruments, and so many refining materials that Chen Qingyun was almost overwhelmed. After this period of hard work, with the help of powerful souls in the nascent soul stage, Chen Qingyun's weapon refining skills improved very quickly. The formation pattern of the 4th level top level can already be drawn easily. Finally, he got what he wanted and advanced to the level of the 4th level top level weapon refiner. In order to become a 5th level weapon refiner, Chen Qingyun encountered a problem, that is, he did not have such weapon refinement inheritance. Unlike the 3rd level and 4th level weapon refinement knowledge, the 5th level involves more profound and obscure levels. If you only rely on your own thinking, the progress will be very slow. The best way to learn is to disassemble many spiritual treasures and then imitate and refine them. Regarding this point, with the talent of analysis, you can easily obtain the refining formula of spiritual treasures. However, after analyzing a spiritual treasure, can you refine it again through the analyzed materials and refine a new spiritual treasure again? Chen Qingyun himself does not have this confidence, so it is still a bit difficult. Chen Qingyun is reluctant to analyze the spiritual treasures he has, and he will have to find ways to obtain some spiritual treasures later. As for the Yan Huang Bell, Chen Qingyun has been slowly nurturing it with the power of the nascent soul in his body for a year, day and night. and has successfully upgraded it to the level of a lower-grade spiritual treasure. In order to further improve it, the Flame Emperor Bell was put into Baoang's body again, hoping to upgrade it to a top-grade spiritual treasure. After coming out of retreat, Chen Qingyun took a few days to rest, chatted with Chen Qingyun, and gave advice on his sister's practice. It is worth mentioning that Chen Qingyun's weapon refining skills advanced very quickly, which surprised Chen Qingyun. She had actually reached the 3rd grade top grade level. Chapter 824 Mo Ling advances to the peak of the Golden Core. Qingyun herself was also surprised by the recent progress. Because the knowledge of these 3 levels of refining seemed to be engraved in her mind in advance, she could understand it instinctively. Then she started to refine some corresponding magic tools, familiarized herself with those array patterns, and soon mastered them. This process of understanding was very much like reviewing the old and learning the new. She was already familiar with those array patterns, and always felt as if she had seen them somewhere. This made Chen Qingyun very confused. In the end, after thinking about it, she thought that she had come into contact with it in her dreams and had a talent in this area. In short, it was more dreamy. This achievement made Chen Qingyun couldn't help but joke, such an amazing talent for refining. Could it be that my Qingyun is the reincarnation of a master of refining? Maybe in the previous life, she was the only one in the field of refining. No, maybe this is the benefit of the heavenly spiritual route. Chen Qingyun rolled her eyes at Chen Qingyun, not thinking that she would be a big shot in her previous life, and laughed again. Maybe I'm just the material for learning weapon refining. These are really not difficult for me. Once I get started in the past few years, I learn very quickly. And this can quickly improve weapon refining, which is also a good thing. Brother, you should also hurry up. Maybe in a few years, my weapon refining skills will surpass you. Chen Qingyun said mischievously. Your weapon refining skills are almost catching up with your sister Qingyun. In a few years, it is not impossible to surpass me and your sister Qingyun. I hope there will be such a day. In addition to weapon refining, Chen Qingyun has also been fascinated by the art of formation recently. With the family's formation inheritance and his own excellent talent, he has become a first-level lower-grade formation master. Because it is still in the starting stage, the progress is far less than that of weapon refining, but the results shown in the initial stage are far better than the family's formation masters. The amazing talent shown by Chen Qingyun made Chen Qingyun secretly pay attention. Maybe his sister is really the reincarnation of a certain god-transforming cultivator. This aspect needs to be paid more attention to in the future. After chatting with Qingyun for more than an hour, Chen Qingyun was attracted by Mo Ling's dynamics and took Chen Qingyun into the Blessed Land Bead. For a year, after constantly absorbing the power of the nascent soul demon pill, Mo Ling finally changed and his strength improved significantly, which made Chen Qingyun very happy. Peak of the Golden Core stage. It was a bit incredible that swallowing a mid-stage nascent soul demon pill would have such a great benefit to Mo Ling. Seeing Chen Qingyun appear, Mo Ling happily flapped his wings and flew over, landing on the ground, swinging his big head and rubbing against Chen Qingyun. With the continuous improvement of strength, from the early stage of the Golden Core to the peak of the Golden Core, Mo Ling's appearance did not change too obviously. The dark and gorgeous feathers became much smoother and more beautiful than before, and the body weight increased by more than 20 kilograms, and there was almost no difference. Seeing Mo Ling grow to the peak of the Golden Core, Chen Qingyun was surprised and envious. Wow, Mo Ling is so great. I want to raise a pet like Mo Ling in the future, and raise it to be black and fat. It's at the peak of the Jiandan stage, brother. How did you raise it so powerful? While talking, Chen Qingyun gently pinched Mo Ling's head, and couldn't let it go. When Mo Ling heard someone say that he was black and fat, he didn't show any dissatisfaction, and rubbed against Chen Qingyun to show his closeness. Such a Jiandan demon king seemed very lively in front of Chen Qingyun and the others, like a little guy, without showing any majesty. Chen Qingyun teased Mo Ling for a while, and took a look at the situation of the 6-winged miasma bees, and found that the spirit bees had multiplied to more than 50,000. According to this reproduction rate, breaking through 100,000 is not an empty talk.
There are just over 100 green yuan fruits left, so let's share them. Zhang Yuan's collection of green yuan fruits actually reached more than 130, which made Chen Qingyun wonder if this guy had a few green yuan fruit trees. He took out the green yuan fruits and began to feed these spirit bees. The more than 130 green yuan fruits were soon eaten up. It should take 5 or 6 years to break through 100,000. Thinking of the performance of the six-winged miasma cloud bee in the ruins of the Five Elements sect, Chen Qingyun was a little excited. Looking at the medicine field again, it presented a lush scene, and some spiritual medicines were ripe and ready to be picked. Chen Qingyun called Chen Qingyun to work together, picked some spiritual medicines, and then took care of the medicine garden a little. With the help of Chen Qingyun, the medicine garden was kept very neat and clean. Chen Qingyun looked at the group of little yuling bees again, took some yuling honey and let Chen Qingyun taste it. These honeys have little effect on Chen Qingyun and others, but they can be exchanged for the family to cultivate the younger generations. After taking Chen Qingyun out of the blessed land, Chen Qingyun mainly refined magic tools in the next few days, and occasionally instructed Chen Qingyun in cultivation. Knowing that Chen Qingyun had come out of retreat, Chen Qingyun came to find him and cared about Chen Qingyun. Because she completed the task. After returning to the Tanxing Palace, she heard about Chen Qingyun's experience in the mission and was hunted by the Yuanying Demon King. This made her a little worried. After all, Chen Qingyun had just entered the Yuanying stage not long ago. Chen Qingyun did not hide anything, and told the truth about what happened at that time, and reminded Chen Qingyun to be more wary of the demon cultivators in the Wanyao Sea, especially the Demon Ancestor Palace. Kuish Cave is just one of the cave forces under the Demon Ancestor Hall. There are 5 such forces. I am not sure whether my killing of the deputy cave master of Kuish Cave has alarmed the Demon Ancestor Hall. From now on, if there are demon cultivators appearing in Zhenhai Island or Lingjian Island and other family residences, you must notify me as soon as possible. We must not let them have the opportunity to attack our Chen family. Chen Qingyun looked serious and was very afraid of the power of the Demon Ancestor Hall. If the other party does not have a demon cultivator in the God transformation stage, then there is no need to be too afraid. Fortunately, with the containment of Penglai Fairyland, Black Dragon Palace, Shinshui Mansion, and even Tongshan Demon Sea, the demon cultivators in the God transformation stage of the Demon Ancestor Hall did not dare to leave the main hall at will. This time, Chen Qingyun has the strength to fight and protect the Chen family by sending the Yuanying Demon King. Speaking of the Demon Ancestor Palace, Chen Qingyun said solemnly, the mission I carried out also involved the giant and stage demon cultivators from the Demon Ancestor Palace. Fortunately, with the cooperation of Li Mubing and the Red Spirit Ancestor, there was no trouble. The Demon Ancestor Palace has always been ambitious to swallow up our Zhenghai. In the future, to fight against such forces, we still need to improve our strength. Speaking of this, Chen Qingyun eased the atmosphere. He smiled and said, by the way, I came to you this time to discuss something with you. In the next few days, I will prepare to retreat and form a pill. Chapter 825 Qingyun retreats to repair the Green Mirror. When he heard that the 5th sister was going to retreat to form a pill, Chen Qingyun couldn't help showing joy on his face. In the family, Grandpa Daoran and Dalen have not formed a pill yet, and I haven't heard that they have the idea of forming a pill. I think their realm is not high enough. 5th sister, your strength has improved so rapidly in the past few years, and you will form a pill in a blink of an eye. It's not difficult to form a pill, but it's not easy to say. Do you have any preparations? How do you want to form a pill? Hearing this, Chen Qingyun smiled mysteriously. Why, don't you guess? Forming a pill with the great wilderness swallowing demon skill? Chen Qingyun shook his head slightly, took out a jade bottle, uncorked it, and revealed the snow-white milky liquid stored inside. Snow, spirit dew. Yes, not bad. Chen Qingyun said slowly. The monster resources accumulated in the family will be left to the cultivators of my grandfather's generation to form a pill. I Exchanged this Snow Spirit Dew in Xingzong myself. Now I have a 70% chance of forming a pill, which is enough for me to form a pill. As for the origin of this Snow Spirit Dew, Chen Qingyun took the initiative to tell that she had carried out more than a dozen Xingzong missions in the past 10 years and accumulated a lot of good deeds. This recent mission made up for the last lack of good deeds, so that she could exchange for this bottle of Snow Spirit Dew in one fell swoop. Chen Qingyun was not surprised to be able to exchange such a pill-forming spiritual object in Xingzong. As a Purple Order Patrol Star Envoy, Chen Qingyun already enjoys the exchange rights of Xingzong. Let alone Snow Spirit Dew, even if it is a higher-level infant-forming spiritual object. For example, the Mother Earth Qi, Xuanying Earth Marrow, and Earth Core Purple Jade. As long as Xingzong has it, according to regulations, any Patrol Star Envoy has the right to exchange it. However, in history, there has been no example of anyone being able to exchange for spiritual objects for infant formation, because these resources are too scarce. As the Xingzong gradually developed the Wanjiantu, it began to obtain more and more resources. Two small spiritual stone mines were discovered, as well as a micro vein and a large-scale vein. This Snow Spirit Dew was born in the newly discovered large-scale vein Hanjing mine. When it was discovered, a large amount had been accumulated, totaling about 12 small bottles. This small bottle of Snow Spirit Dew can assist a cultivator in forming a pill, with a 70% chance of success. According to the scale of this Hanjing mine, a small bottle of Snow Spirit Dew can be produced almost every 10 years. Which once attracted much attention and became a resource area that the Xingzong focused on guarding in the Wanjiantu. In the past 10 years, the two ancestors Zhu and Liang have been stationed in this Hanjing mine according to the arrangement of the Xingzong without moving an inch. With the Snow Spirit Dew in hand, it is also a very reliable method compared to accumulating demon pills to form a pill. There is no need to worry about which of the two is more suitable for Dan formation. Just use whichever is easier to obtain. Chen Qingyun considered the family and took the lead in leaving the monster resources to Chen Daoran, Chen Dailin and other older generation cultivators. Chen Qingyun still recognized this in his heart. In the early days, they were taken care of by the elders of the family and enjoyed the protection of the family. Now, with the passage of time, their generation has aged a lot. In the face of the passing of time, they need to improve their cultivation as soon as possible to prolong their lifespan. Chen Qingyun and Chen Qingyun both have the ability to earn spirit stones and have ways to obtain Dan formation spiritual objects. Naturally, they are willing to give up the monster resources and leave them to the elders of the family first. Chen Qingyun taught some Dan formation experience and gave a few instructions. On the second day, Chen Qingyun entered the practice room and sat cross-legged on the water spirit vein to start retreat. This retreat is expected to last between 2 and 3 years. After the fifth sister retreated, Chen Qingyun sorted out the book collection on his body and prepared to exchange most of them for the family to copy and strengthen the family's foundation. Among these books on cultivation techniques and the 100 arts of cultivating immortals, Chen Qingyun picked out the ones he was more interested in. Among them, there are 2 books called Introduction to Formation and Analysis of Basic Formation, which are specifically used to guide cultivators to get started with formation. Chen Qingyun decided to learn formation to have one more skill. This formation has some connections with refining equipment, the most typical of which is the formation pattern. There are many similarities, and you can draw inferences from one example. If high-level refiners learn formation, they can achieve some twice the result with half the effort, and it is easy to make progress. Chen Qingyun set off for Lingjian Island, met Chen Xianming, and told him the purpose of his visit. I have made some gains recently. I have a lot of books on cultivation techniques and the 100 arts of cultivating immortals. You can copy them and collect them in the library. Where did you get them? Snake Cave. Chen Qingyun explained briefly. In the next few days, Chen Xianming selected dozens of teachers in Lingsai County to copy books for the family and proofread them word by word to avoid any omissions. When he came to Lingjian Island again, Chen Qingyun did not exchange magic tools this time. Currently, the focus is on strengthening 5th level magic tools, which often requires more than 200,000 strengthening points, or even millions. Just decomposing some first-level and second-level magic tools, the strengthening points brought are a drop in the bucket. Chen Qingyun exchanged some 4th-level materials and decided to refine 4th-level magic tools himself to decompose. The family currently has many refiners, and Chen Daoren's refinement attainments have recently reached the 4th-level upper grade and are striving for the ultimate level. In terms of the reserve of 4th-level materials, Chen Xianming is willing to spend money and purchase a lot. With the white stone vein and the weapon refining workshop as a resource supply, a large amount of spiritual stones can be earned every year, giving the family a stable and sufficient source of spiritual stones. In the future, Chen Qingyun will also let the family take over the topaz mine and the sea crystal mine and share. After a round of exchange, Chen Qingyun obtained more than 80 4th-level materials, a total of 199 ores, and it is expected that about 20 4th-level magic tools can be refined. With these materials, Chen Qingyun retreated in the clan land to refine weapons. It took about half a month and successfully refined 20 4th-level magic tools. These magic tools were decomposed and obtained 580,608 strengthening points, plus the previous surplus, reaching 591,902. This time, Chen Qingyun took out the green mirror, looked at this damaged spiritual treasure, and decided whether to repair it. The green mirror itself is a low-grade spiritual treasure, and it also contains some of Senior Lin's consciousness. It is this consciousness that gave birth to the green mirror's spirit and some spiritual intelligence. If I repair it, will this spirit recognize me as its master? Let's not talk about the power of the green mirror after the repair is successful, whether the spirit will recognize itself, or will it choose to run away directly. Chen Qingyun is really unsure about the result. Forget it, it has come to this point, let's try it first. At worst, if it doesn't recognize the master, we can suppress it by force, and it won't run away. After all, the green mirror is not Lin Kangong himself, but the remaining consciousness has mutated and evolved into a spirit, which is no longer considered a human. Chen Qingyun took a deep breath, released Bang, and Jiuyu guarded on one side, and began to strengthen the green mirror. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.